Today's broadcast of Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone is presented by AGR Roofing and Construction. The show starts now. Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com and 1620 The Zone TV. Now, here's Gary, Matt, and Jimmy.
All right, good Friday morning. It is a fantastic feel-good Friday.
Ooh, it's been upgraded. Not just a feel-good.
I think it'll be a fantastic Friday.
I agree with you.
Yeah. If you enjoy being a Midwesterner when it comes to storms, you probably grabbed a beverage last night, went to a covered patio, and watched the lightning storm that rolled through parts of Omaha.
I was underwhelmed, but we didn't need any bad stuff, so it's okay.
Omadome has had a rough week. There has
has.
been glitches in the Omadome.
Well, I only ever notice it when I walk out in the morning and I see that there's rain everywhere. I mean, that is the one crappy
We need
thing
the rain.
about living in an apartment, not having the patio to really go out there and watch the storm and enjoy the storm. There's really
You have a balcony?
there's no.
He doesn't have windows in his room.
I
Oh,
have
wow.
zero.
Which-
I have nothing.
I don't know how you survive.
Yeah.
What do you
Usually
mean?
I had to be
It's
committed.
No
incredible.
windows in your room.
I go to sleep so quickly. It takes me about 3
But
to
you
4
miss
minutes. And
everything.
I'm knocked out. And then I will say it's very difficult to wake up in the morning because it's so much easier to go back to sleep because
Yeah.
there's no
Okay.
light in the room. So that's the downside. But I'm fine with it.
To
I
be fair,
enjoy
if you
it.
had windows, you still wouldn't have light.
If I had windows, I would have to pay $60 more in rent a month. And so I
Are you serious?
yeah,
sunlight
that is
tax.
like the deal that's been made
Oh,
out
with your roommate.
with
With
my
your roommate.
roommate.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I thought at the place that you live.
No,
Yeah.
no. There wasn't
like,
like a window
wow.
package. And
You
want to
look outside, Gary? That's going to cost you.
Yeah, no. Well, he's got the bathroom that's in
Yeah.
the room as well. I don't. My bathroom is detached, so I pay less in rent.
That seems
Per
fair.
month.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Well, I was totally fine to pay even, and then his dad was like the broker. He was like, no, you got it, Matt. You have to pay less if you're
Okay.
going to get the window. So
Shout
it
out
was-
his
it was-
dad.
Yeah, shout out.
I
his
just
dad.
don't know, man.
Yeah,
a
same.
room
Fine.
that doesn't have windows.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm with Gary.
I
here.
love it that I can just close my eyes and I'm out, and it's like a pitch black room. But it is so hard.
Go gummy.
It is so hard to
Sleep
no,
gummy.
it's not even that.
It's
I don't
fantastic.
need that. I don't. I'm just out. I'm just knocked.
I
I'm
had
just
Padres
done.
Diamondbacks last night to soothe me.
But it's so easy to hit the snooze button.
It was
Wow.
good. Yeah.
You must have either were staying up late or you were desperate. Or
I mean,
or you were gambling.
Yeah, were
I
you
enjoyed Don
gambling on that?
Orsilio. No,
Okay.
I didn't stay up. It was just a couple innings. I was like, all right, I'm in a good place. I have a baseball dream.
I know a gambler, and the only reason anybody
So do I. I'm
would
looking at
stay up to watch a
Yeah, we're looking at
Colorado
him.
Rockies. I know I'm a gambler. Everybody
Yeah.
knows I'm the gambler.
You read the pamphlet lately?
No,
You
I
gotta
haven't.
check
because
in
I
with
haven't-
Mike?
Win,
I haven't
hold 'em.
gambled recently, other than when Shane Van Gisbergen won back-to-back races, and then cha-ching. It's not gambling; it's winning.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I'm on a
put
heater.
Put that
I'm
on a bumper
heater.
sticker.
I am back on the heater. I was on about a 2.5 month.
Hey,
what do
shout
we
out
call
Mike,
it,
by the way.
cooler. Now we're back on the heater. It's okay.
Well, yeah. Padres Diamondbacks late
Yeah.
night in the Thursday before the All-Star
I
break.
know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yankees had a good comeback, though.
Hey,
Yes,
great
they did.
comeback.
We will talk about that. But happy 7-Eleven Day for all of you that are old school and had a 7-Eleven in your neighborhood growing up. Today is Free Slurpee Day. If you know, you know.
Mhm.
It's always been when it's 7-Eleven, you can get a free Slurpee. I see they have, you can get a tongue tattoo now,
Oh,
like
Uh,
along with your Slurpee.
like a real one, or like
No,
one that
like a
you do-
Slurpee
that
tongue
cost money.
tattoo.
Yeah.
So you can put a Slurpee flavor
Oh.
tattoo on your tongue if you go to 7-Eleven.
Okay.
I've researched this heavily because I was looking to see if there was a 7-Eleven by here.
Sure.
Many, because where I moved from, there were
Yeah.
a lot of 7-Elevens.
Same.
Yeah, I think the closest 7-Eleven is still in Kansas City.
Yeah. 119th, right by where I used
But there used
to
to be a
live.
lot of 7-Elevens apparently in Omaha. And then, Quick Trip moved in, come and go. Buc-ee's.
Stop running
Casey's.
the option.
And then all of a sudden, now it's Maverick, and now 7-Elevens
If-
haven't been in Omaha for a while.
if it's any testament to how little I go to 7-Eleven, I didn't realize until 2 weeks ago that 7-Eleven wasn't in the state of Nebraska. It never dawned upon me going around here. For
This
the
never
last
came
5
up at
years.
the bars in
No,
college.
that there wasn't a 7-Eleven or anything like that. And by the way, the whole Free Slurpee Day, it's fun. It's enjoyable with the kids. It is a little bit of a Like, it's not that big of a Slurpee.
Are you
Like,
about
it's
to
like-
urinate
it's-
in the Slurpee?
No, I'm not urinating in the Slurpee. But I mean, when I first partook in this, when I was about like 10 years old, I thought they were giving out like the big gulps, like it was
Mhm.
a free like big Slurpee.
There's a lesson
It's
there.
just like it's kind of like at least when I did it was like a Gatorade cup. You know, it was like one of those smaller cups.
How
you
much?
know?
How much did it cost you?
They didn't cost me a thing.
High sugar
I-
content. They were just trying to protect you.
They would always run out of cups though, too. Like that was the other thing. Like if you were gonna get a free Slurpee, you would have to drink the free Slurpee at 9:30 in the morning. Like it was like
I see no problem with that.
what do you mean you see no problem with
It's
stuffing
usually
that
hot
much
at
sugar
9:30
and
on
ice in your
July
face?
11th.
Oh, a little
Oh, yeah.
brain freeze that early in the morning?
Wake up.
Absolutely.
You do
not.
radio in the morning.
If you wanted to go at like 2 or 3 o'clock when you should probably like have a Slurpee in like the lunchtime, like the cups were gone.
By
Every
2 or
day they
3
didn't
o'clock,
care.
I'm adding rum to that thing.
I couldn't do that at my age at the time.
That's what they should do. They should have an adult 7-Eleven. I saw some of the craziest stuff. There were a couple of 7-Elevens in Urbandale growing up.
Mhm.
You learn about the Florida man before you
Sure.
ever move to Florida when
Mm.
you interact with people at 7-Eleven.
I think that's an incredible education if we're being honest.
Stuff that happens. Place that has rollers sometimes gets sideways late at night.
Yes.
I think the
Yes.
rollers and what is left on the roller changes people. Like they go
You
Yeah.
think there's a correlation between,
They're hangry.
like the amount of crimes committed in an area and whether or not their gas stations have rollers?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Some of the nicest 7-Elevens probably have a little crime. Some of the worst 7-Elevens, that's the neighborhood, so everybody's going to protect it. They know you don't go there and get crazy,
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Because that's our 7-Eleven in the neighborhood. And if you mess it up, they might move out. And then where are we going to go on 7-Eleven to get our free Slurpee?
I know that Buc-ee's stands alone in terms of like fancy gas stations, but
Terrific barbecue sandwich.
other than that, like there are a lot of people who freak out about some gas stations that are nicer. I don't really need a fancy gas station.
Yeah.
I don't need the whole like we have 7 different franchises and you can get McDonald's and this and that and there's a whole walk-in cooler, everything like that. I really just need a Gatorade, a Slim Jim, and just like fill up my tank. Like I don't know. We
Welcome
try and
to 10
reinvent
years.
the
Welcome
wheel.
to Mega Saver.
Yeah. Give them 10 years. It'll change.
Now, convenience stores have changed, of course, because they have lottery games,
Yeah.
casino games,
Well,
vapes.
Mhm.
You can buy other things like when I went to Mega Saver and went in and explored Mega Saver recently, I was blown away. I mean, that's
There's a new one down the
that's
street.
a whole experience.
Ask me if I've,
now they got gas pumps over at 72nd and Pacific. Not that area needs any more traffic.
ask me if I've played a slot machine at a gas station.
Well, you
before.
probably have.
Yeah.
I have not.
Really?
I have not.
There's
Wow.
some at a
That
Casey's
might
by
be-
me.
That might be the most shocking thing of today.
Yeah.
I just don't. I really have this like weird superstition thing that it's not in a casino that I'm probably not going to win. The whole bar,
That's kind of
the bar slot machines. I don't play those. The gas station slot machines. I don't play those. But if Gary's playing a slot machine right here, I'm not going to sit next to Gary and play a slot machine because I think Gary's taking all the winnings from this area of slots. So I go to a different slot. You got to be superstitious when you play slots. Which
I'm superstitious when I play life.
Okay, on that note, a little bit later on the show, Mike Schaefer will stop by with thoughts aplenty. Matt Verzal has a special appearance today.
Yes. This is
You're going to
exciting.
want to be on 1620 The Zone TV when Verz shows up because he has something that he wants all of you to see. That is the lineup brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. It is a beautiful Friday morning. It is
It is.
terrible Friday morning if you are an Astro hater, but you're also a Husker fan. Because
yes.
you're like, okay, I'll give it that Jake Myers is playing for the Astros and he's been really good. And so I'll kind of root for Jake, but I'll boo Altuve. It's kind of weird. You went to Dodger Stadium last weekend. You like booed Altuve and then you cheered for Jake Myers and people around you are like,
what's wrong with you?
What's going on?
Astros whipped their ass.
Yeah,
Yesterday,
you did.
Bryce Matthews, at the age of 23, former first-round pick of your Nebraska Cornhuskers, who has made the conversion from shortstop to second base and is raking just recently, and ironically, brought it up on the show the other day.
Yes.
He had risen to the top of the Houston Astro prospect list because
Which
of
is
some injuries in H-Town. Bryce Matthews gets called to the bigs right before the All-Star break. So Cade Povich, Spencer Schwellenbach,
Yep.
Bryce Matthews, all in the major. So if you hate the Astros and you're a Husker fan, Jimmy, this is a little bit of a
Tough cookies,
You're
as
like
they
you're
say.
like twisted today because Bryce is one of those A+ dudes on and off the field.
Lucky for me, I like them both. So Let's go.
I am who you talk about. I am the exact demographic of human beings who can't stand your baseball team. It's no offense.
That's
to
a
you,
you problem.
Jimmy. It is. I mean,
See you in October.
I guess it is. I hope not.
Why not?
Because
Cubs in the World
I
Series. Let's
don't-
go. I want to be
don't
here when the Cubs
wanna-
are in the World
Here's
Series.
the thing. If the Cubs were to lose in the World Series, I would be very, very mad. But if the Cubs were to lose in the World Series to the Houston Astros, I would be even more frustrated.
Oh hell, sign me up. Let's go.
And so that would like put me even more on edge in a situation where I would be incredibly on edge if they were playing in the World Series. So no, I don't like your team because you cheated in 2017 to win the World Series, and then you weren't really overly punished for it.
Yeah.
And then you ended up
Like the SEC.
proving that you guys are a really good franchise by winning a World Series again. And then
Cheated
you
in
thought
19,
that-
didn't work.
You thought that it was like okay, hey, we were totally okay in 2017 because we ended up winning a couple of years later.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't like the Astros, but I love Bryce Matthews, and I hope he succeeds. I hope he hits a home run every single game, and the Houston Astros lose every single game. That's
See,
my
but now
hope.
you're
That'd
wishing
be a
bad things
fair-
on Bryce
That'd be a
Matthews.
fair trade.
I will take 66 Bryce Matthews home runs
too.
and the Astros winning 66 games.
God, if he hits 66 home runs in the second half, he may win Rookie of the Year.
He might.
I do win Rookie of the Century.
Might squeeze it
Maybe.
out.
Maybe.
And maybe he'll get
Take
a
that,
couple of
big
MVP
dumper.
votes. But real quick, I did a little research here. So heading into the season, we're not counting the West Coast teams in the Big Ten. We're eliminating them.
Okay.
So if you're just going off of the non-West Coast Big Ten, heading into the year, the Nebraska Cornhuskers had 5
The original
active
Western team. in the Big
MLB
Ten.
players. Okay, that was tied for first in the Big Ten. Now they have 6. So I haven't really kept up with anybody else has made debuts, whether it be from Michigan State or Ohio State or any of those teams. But if we're removing the Midwestern or the Western powers of the Big Ten, Nebraska's producing the most MLB talent in the Big Ten. There you go.
I just heard that part. Yeah. GBR.
Well,
there
if
you
you look at you look up the 21 team, and it's ironic that we just did this the other day.
yeah,
Is
we
that
did.
you got Povich? Cade made he got traded from the Twins organization to the Orioles, and then got brought up to the Bigs, and he is stuck in the rotation. And then you have Schwellenbach, who was having a fantastic year,
Mhm.
was headed to the All-Star game probably, and then had the injury, which I hope he sits out the rest of the year because he needs to be 100%.
Yeah.
And then you add Bryce Matthews, and you look at the 21 team, and that was the quirky COVID year where they played an only Big Ten schedule and won the Big Ten,
Mhm.
and then got shipped to Fayetteville
To play the
and-
number 1 overall seed.
and they lost. They took them all the way to the final game and almost beat Arkansas. But if you look at that lineup, top to bottom, and even the pitching,
Mhm.
I mean, that was a really, really good team that got a tough draw in a regional. But I look at that team, and this year, off of this year's team, Mason McConaughey probably will be the only headliner.
yeah.
Like if you're thinking local, and we've had a nice little run of local players, high school players that have gotten drafted around here.
Mhm.
Mason McConaughey will probably be the only guy with a Nebraska connection that's drafted super high.
Sure.
And he went to the combine, and people have given him a good feedback, and it looks like he's on his way to being healthy. That 21 team basically tells you that if you want to win at a different level than what Nebraska has dabbled in, you got to have some dudes. You got to
Yeah.
have some first round picks, and you got to have some guys that within a 2 or 3 year window are going to make it to the majors. And they had that. And now that Bryce Matthews is up there, but I think it's a big deal off that 21 team because that was early in Will's career,
Mhm.
and people were jonesing for sports, and they were jonesing for Nebraska to be good at something in the that COVID calendar year.
Yeah.
And that team was really, really good. They shoved, they were fun. You embraced them. And then as things got, they eased restrictions and you could go to more games. Haymarket Park
Mhm.
had that buzz again.
That 21 team, I remember, was just easy to root for. I don't know. I just feel like you have some of those teams where they're good but maybe they don't show like a ton of personality, where you're kind of like, all right, like it's my obligation to root for them because I like this team and I've been a fan of this team for a while. But that 21 team in particularly, and the guy that probably won't make the MLB, but Jackson Hallmark, I remember in center field, was just an electric player. And the fact that you had a guy like Spencer Schwellenbach, who wasn't just like in the top of the order, but was your shortstop, was your closer. You had Cade Povich, who was this just electric lefty, this
Mhm.
lanky lefty. It's just like that team had a combination of so many unique players and a lot of athleticism. And screw Kevin Kopps. I mean, all my homies hate Kevin Kopps because of just how he shut down Nebraska in that third and final game in Fayetteville. But I even so, like you look past even past that, like 2022 and 2023, you still have some guys in the minor leagues who could potentially end up in the MLB.
Max Anderson is AA. I mean, he'll go a little bit slower. Maybe Max is thrown into a deal to help the Tigers here in a couple of weeks.
I think that's probably, and you brought it up when we were talking about Bryce Matthews last week about how, the infield for Detroit is pretty loaded, but Max is playing really good baseball now. He's only, I think, the 22nd prospect in the Tigers organization right now. But you got Brett Sears, who got drafted
well. He's moving up.
Who got drafted pretty high. You got Emmett Olson, who got drafted pretty high, who's got a 4 ERA right now in the minors. So, you still have guys who very well could work their way up and add to the list of, Husker MLB players, which is really cool.
But it's a little bit, so you look at that 21 makeup, and, they had some guys that are never going to play Major League Baseball, Mojo Hagee, and, guys that were just grinders. But they had a nice mix of grinders and elite players. Either they were in their last year of eligibility or you knew they were going to get drafted, or, Bryce Matthews and Max Anderson on that team were young guys.
Yeah.
But college baseball has changed since that 21 team. Look at the NIL.
Yeah.
The gap, and, Nebraska was still in the Big Ten, didn't have the West Coasters, but the gap between the Big Ten and the SEC, ACC, a little bit Big 12, has gotten much wider in 4 years since Nebraska had that nice array of talent. So you're still going to have that challenge.
Sure.
But you got to have some dudes. You got to be able to recruit. But it was early, and they had a run, and it's great to see Bryce get called up. I was a little bit surprised. I knew that they were starting to engage, and they liked him because Joe Espada, the manager of the Astros, started to talk about Bryce Matthews. And if you're this isn't spring training where they see him on a regular basis, so they talk about him and they're asked about him. This is in the middle of the year with the injury to Pena that he brought him up unsolicited the other day, and that should have been the ding, ding, ding. They've got him on the radar. Now they're trying to figure out how to get him called up, and that's great that he's called up again. Anybody that interacted with him when he was in Lincoln, he's a great dude. He was kind of quiet, but he was fantastic. He was a great ambassador for Nebraska. He has really flown through their system, and now he's going to be in the majors. And people that hate the Astros but also cheer for Nebraska like an H-Town Husker, what are you going to do? Because people like Jake Myers. Jake Myers has had a really nice major league career, and the Astros kind of put him out there about 2 years ago in the offseason to possibly trade him. They didn't, and he's been a key cog in what they're doing. And, of course, they're pissing off everybody because they're playing well when you are ready for the Astros to fail.
I mean, if you look at the alumni that Nebraska baseball has that's playing in the MLB right now, they're all pretty good. There's not Schwellenbach could have been an all-star. I mean, he's got the potential to be like a superstar Husker, which would be awesome. But even Matt Waldron has had a really good career. Aaron Bummer has had a really good career for being a lefty reliever.
He is stuck around.
And he's been around for a while. And I think it's funny to me, once again, if we remove the West Coast teams and you look at, college success to MLB success, you're trending to a point where Nebraska baseball is heads above heels over the Midwestern, realm of the Big Ten. And I was thinking about it, that shouldn't be overly surprising considering the fact that Nebraska has won 3 out of the last 5 Big Ten tournaments and has been the automatic
dynasty
for the Big Ten over the last couple of years, where they should have the most MLB talent. They've been the team that has been, the representative for the Big Ten for the most part over the last couple of years. But then the West Coast teams come in and they kind of just, ixnay all of the, I'm the tallest jockey, awards that you might get in the Big Ten.
So you want to
when
wear
it comes to
jersey?
baseball.
Hey,
You look pretty in it.
You guys read the paper at all?
No. Well,
if I got it,
I go on omaha.com, but
do they still publish in the physical copy the Midlands and the minors? That used to be one of it was a staple in the paper, be Tuesday morning, and you would know every guy from Nebraska, Creighton, Omaha, Iowa Western, anybody local that's playing. I had to think that was one of the most popular things. I think Mike Patterson put it together. I haven't seen a Tuesday physical copy in a while.
That's pretty cool. I love that, actually.
Well, it's so there was a service back in the day.
Shout out Box
Back in the
Scores.
day, young Matt.
Okay.
when people used to read the physical copy of the paper,
Smells
there used
so
to be
good.
box scores.
Mhm.
There was
I'm young. I'm not that young. I remember the
Oh,
box
you're probably
scores.
young.
Doesn't
You're-
know Bozo, but
no.
new box scores.
I do. I remember
true.
reading the box scores.
That's true. It's kind of peculiar, isn't it?
Bozo was way before me. Was way before
Yeah,
my
but Bozo's
time.
never gone away.
I
Yeah.
had Disney Channel.
You know who
okay?
Richard
I didn't
Daly
need
is? He was
WGN.
before, well,
Yeah, Richard Daly was before Bozo.
and you knew
yeah,
who
but
he
Richard
was.
Daly is still he's always around. He's a ghost.
So
you
is
know?
Bozo.
He's-
So is
he's-
Cookie.
I'm not saying he's always haunting Chicago, but he's always around Chicago. You can always feel the dailies.
But the physical paper had box scores every day. That's how I learned how to read. And in the sporting news, because you'd get
That's
the
awesome.
sporting news weekly and would have
Yeah.
all the box scores from the week. And so I kind of learned how to read by reading box scores. But on Sunday in the Big Peach, which was the Des Moines Register, which I grew up with, on Sunday, the paper would be peach colored because when you went to get the Sunday paper, when the Sunday paper used to be thick,
Yeah.
like your thighs,
Mhm.
now it's like, you would be able to find the sports
two
page
Cs.
quicker because it was peach. And so it was called the Big Peach
Oh.
until, printing costs changed. And so then it just looked like a regular section in
Paper.
a Sunday paper. But in there, you would have from the top of the page to the bottom of the page, all of the stats, like
Okay.
hitters and pitchers in Major League Baseball. And then you would have all of the Iowans that were
Nice.
playing minor league baseball and even Major League Baseball. But I think it was Tuesdays in the World Herald that they have Midlanders in the minors. And so you'd be able to keep up with guys.
I love that. And I think that
It was a great
it's
time.
just one of those things where it's like it's very reflective of like the community of Omaha and the fact that like people here in Nebraska, they truly care about, the local kids who come up and who do incredibly successful, and you want to follow those people. And I think that's one of those things that like being an outsider, not growing up here, has drawn me to like the people who love sports here because I didn't have that. Like we didn't really, unless you were like Derrick Rose or Jabari Parker or Kevin Garnett or like literally going to be, Hall of Famers, we didn't really follow any like local Chicago people's careers. And so to come here and like, when you start to meet some of those people and like get to be friends with them and see them like go up through,
You're like, people care here.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
nice.
absolutely. It's so it's just one of those things where like it's more than just like, oh, this is a sport you're watching on TV.
Don says, I do know this in the digital copy. He said minors, majors every week in the digital copy. I'm talking about box scores. So they have an extended, like you have to scroll all the way to the end and then it'll have like a special MLB section.
It is though one of those things that nowadays in this day and age, it is so much easier though to kind of do it on your like it's easier now to do it on your own than
not
it
the
was
same.
all those years ago because you can just look up Bryce Matthews stats and Max Anderson stats and like you're actively trying to do that. But that is a really cool part.
I mean,
of the
there's
paper.
quite it's Tyson Lewis is playing really well, the former Millard West shortstop. He's starting to progress. Creighton has had quite a few guys make it to the majors. Will Robertson, who I think I traded yesterday, and Alan Roden. It's been a good baseball year around here, and now Bryce Matthews is in the majors. Where are the Stros at this weekend, Jimmy?
Where are they this
I was
weekend?
looking at it this morning.
Yeah, I was talking about it last night.
They are.
I'm all focused on this Cubs-Yankees
begin
series
a
this weekend.
series today in. Why can't I find them? They're at home. They play the Rangers.
F them.
All right, they just came off a series where they got swept by the Guardians.
Yeah.
Over is 8.5. Houston is -134.
Stay away from Cleveland.
Read the pamphlet. All right, you have the lineup for the show. Mike Schaefer, Matt Verzal. Lineup brought to you by the Roofers at John Higgins Weather Guard. You can always join the conversation on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 402-951-1620, or the Equitable Bank inbox, where they take banking personally. There are two fine locations and the great people that run Equitable Bank, Gary or Matt at 1620thezone.com. We've got lots to discuss on a fantastic Friday. Now, 48 days.
48 days.
Nice.
Or
from
by Matt's math,
Nebraska,
28 days.
Cincinnati. Is that
20
what you do? We're
28.
28 days away from being 20.
Bang.
Okay.
28 days away.
There is Matt. There's Jimmy. I'm Gary. It's Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in on a Friday morning. There's Matt, there's Jimmy, I'm Gary, and this is Random Mike
Mike.
on the Prairie Flower Casino Hotline. Good morning, Mike.
We got the power, we got the speed. So come on down to Wrigley Field.
Yes, we got a big 3-gamer in the Bronx this weekend. Could you sing that again? What?
Yeah, not quite the words.
No, why don't you?
No, not quite.
You gotta. What you want?
How important is it
Go ahead.
to keep the king?
Extremely important for the future, but he might
Tell me
be
this.
he might be inching towards a $500 million deal, and I think that's probably too steep for the Cubs.
Please tell me his agent isn't named Boris.
I don't believe so. I don't believe he's represented by Scott Boras.
That's what I always ask, too.
Casey Close of XL Sports.
Yeah, who is probably the second most powerful agent in baseball.
Really?
I mean, I
Okay.
think there's an interest for him to stay, but if he continues to play like he is this year and his age, there's going to be a lot of suitors. It's just how high will the number go? Because I think if you're talking $500 million, which isn't out of the realm of possibility,
No.
I don't think the Cubs touch that.
Yeah, and how important was it that TD Ameritrade was bought up by Schwab?
It's not
There's
like
a lot of
it's
money
not
there.
it's not like the
Ricketts wants to do it.
Ricketts are poor.
Yeah.
It's just, when have they told you that they're willing to spend? That's the thing. This case might be different. I think we'll get a little sense of what they'll do with Kyle Tucker, with what they do in the next couple of weeks, on what they give up and if they go all in to try and win the World Series this year.
Yeah, and but in that great song, you know who wrote that song?
I do not.
I do not know. When you say
It
it,
is
I think
not
his name is
Steve Goodman.
Goodman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
So-
a very talented guy that died way too young. I mean, do you agree? It's a great song.
Yes. You are singing the WGN song and then the song that they play after every win at Wrigley Field. Yes.
Yeah, go
Yes.
Cubs, go.
Yes.
And but the point is, it's interesting. You talked about power and speed. The one thing the Cubs have not had over the years is that combination of power and speed, and that's significant. They've never had a team that could steal bases like this. But the thing I love about the King, and that's a
King
great
Tuck,
nickname.
baby.
The thing I love about him is that walk to strikeout ratio. He's so damn
Good point.
calm. It's amazing, and that's what they need. And here's the thing: they haven't had a player like PCA. Would you agree? I mean, they just haven't had a guy like that.
no, they haven't had that a guy that's that dynamic and that that has that like superstar, not just like from a statistical standpoint is a superstar, but you watch him and you could see that he truly is a superstar.
Yeah, and he's young, and he's going to keep.
He is
I
a
agree.
superstar.
Let's just. He's having an incredible season that is on par with Sandberg and Sosa type seasons. We knew his ceiling was pretty high.
Yeah.
He's having a great year.
Come on. He's a superstar. He is the creme de la creme.
I'm not going to slide him over there. I'm very excited to have him, and he could win the MVP. It'll be him and Ohtani right now. We knew his ceiling was pretty high. I'm glad that he's reaching it, because what we'll do is when the season is over and he finishes, I mean, he's going to be at least minimum 30-30 guy. Can he do it again next year? But he's panning out. I mean, what he did yesterday when they needed to win that game.
2 homers. Incredible.
Yeah, and at the center field. And but the thing is, he's probably going to be a 40-40 guy.
I hope so.
It's probably going to, this is amazing. But the thing he doesn't do is take the base on balls. But he did on that last at bat, and this is what I'm talking about. And even the manager mentioned the thing about the King is that they love, and they're hoping that it can spread to the other players, is that ability to take a base on balls and be relaxed and not get too up and down. And I think it might have been PCA's last at bat where he took a walk. That's basically a double, and that's huge.
Yep, the lineup. Again, I'm going to wait for the next 2 weeks, so it'll determine a lot of where the Cubs are going, but and what their priorities are. But let me give you this, Mike, before we get you out of here. Ian Happ, would you trade him right now for a starting pitcher?
No, and I'll tell you what I love about Happ. He's the Rizzo connection, and him and Rizzo were very close. And he's their player rep. He's a leader. And isn't it cool that just about everybody on their team is a Gold Glove quality defender.
They are. Some guys are better with the glove than they are with the bat, and they happen to play on the left side of the infield.
Hey, but speaking about Huskers, I think Waldron's going to be back pretty soon.
He pitched a couple of weeks ago, I believe, with San
Yeah,
Diego.
they sent him down, but he had
Okay,
a great outing the other day, and I know they really like him. And just these Huskers in the majors now, it's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Mike, thanks for the call. Have a great weekend.
You got it.
I'm ready to do it.
You
I'm
hate
ready
my
to
team,
dub
and we gave you
him.
the king.
I'm ready to dub him. I'm ready to dub him. He is a superstar. He's got number 4. He's got the great name. He's not just hitting the ball out of the park and being electric on the base paths. I love these defensive statistics that I never heard about that he's got the most of in terms of like diamond plays of plays that were under 5% that he's made. He made the greatest defensive play I've ever seen in person in my life on July 4th.
He did
in that
was a great
first
play.
inning. That was absolutely insane.
He's having an incredible season, so he's on par. I mean, so what he did is he's a 25-25 guy before the All-Star break, and Bobby Bonds, Eric Davis, and now Pete Crow Armstrong are in that category.
That's good company.
Yeah, incredible.
Man, Eric Davis. Eric Davis was amazing. I wish injuries would not have stunted his career.
Yeah.
He's always had a high floor, or a high ceiling, I should
yeah.
say. He's having a great year. There is a lot of potential there, but it is way too early to say superstar, because superstars sustain year after year after year. I don't think you can call him a superstar because he's way too early in his career, and this is essentially his first year where he is playing every single day.
It's his first year, and he's already 25-25. It's his first year, and he's already at the All-Star game.
But are you going to come back next year and bash him and go,
he
bum.
sucks? Absolutely.
At least he's honest.
I absolutely will.
Hey, that trade has worked out perfectly, and I love what I see. And I mean, he's going to be like Ohtani. I think for him to win the most valuable player in the National League would have to be a little Ohtani fatigue, because Ohtani's numbers against PCA, like OPS and slugging, are much
above.
much higher.
Well, he's 173 OPS plus.
But it would have to be like, I have Ohtani fatigue, and the Cubs would have to win their division.
Right. Yeah.
But if they win their division, and he continues on this path, there is a strong case that he would be the MVP.
If they end up being the best team in the NL, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, they would have to get very hot. But they could end up doing that. I definitely do think there would be a gap cut, if you will, between what numbers he has to have, compared to Shohei. And I do think too, PCA has that. I've always thought the defensive stuff was always a great hidden little thing for MVP voting, because you can't really put a number to it. Like, you can't put a numerical value to how great he is at defense, but you just say he's incredible at defense, and it counts for a lot. Same thing with Cal Raleigh. Like, that's the argument they're going to make for him to maybe be over Judge in terms of the AL MVP is, well, he's playing catcher. He's so good defensively behind there. The pitchers love throwing to him. Like, so he's got that going for him too.
Well, I would think with Raleigh, and we'll talk about what happened last night in the Bronx between those two teams. The fact that you're doing what he's doing and he's catching every day,
crazy.
Whatever his dynamics are, or metrics, I should say, of catching and Seattle's ERA, everything that they do with catchers. The fact that he catches every day, not some days plays first base, some days DHs, but is more of the everyday catcher, I think would weigh heavily if I was looking at the AL MVP right now.
And he doesn't hit at the Kingdom either. I mean, that's people would think the way he's just launching the ball out.
I mean, he's having a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge, though, and I heard this yesterday, and it might be adjusted. His OPS plus is 231. Okay, like having an OPS plus of like 135, 140 is good enough to get you into an All-Star game. Good enough for you to be like, oh, that's one of the better hitters in the MLB. To be 2.3%, like 2.3 times better than the average hitter in the MLB is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
If you were to lose an MVP by having a OPS plus of over 200, that would be absolutely bananas. That would be bonkers.
But if it was a Cal Raleigh year where he hits 58 home runs, you could all of that you said, yes, but you could go, okay, is it Judge fatigue? Is it Yankee fatigue? Now all of a sudden we have a new guy who has not ever been in the mix, is being right there with Judge. Boom, he gets my vote.
I think it would be
because that might be the Ohtani Pete Crow Armstrong discussion.
I think it would be way more Judge fatigue than Shohei fatigue, and it's just because he's going to hit 60 home runs again, and he may not win back-to-back MVPs, which is absolutely crazy. Now, the thing about Judge too, which I understand, he plays 81 of his games in a little baby ballpark, but he also hits the crap out of the ball. Like, he is one of the very few Yankees where you can't be like, hey, he benefits greatly from being in that stadium, Jazz Chisholm. But if he were to hit 60 homers, have an OPS plus of like 200, it would really be like, damn, Cal Raleigh just had one of those years. And then it'd be really funny if Cal Raleigh just never got even close to being that good again. It was just
so is he a superstar?
Raleigh. Right now he is, yeah. I mean, he's done.
He's a big dumper.
So you label guys that have one good year, you immediately call them a superstar.
Okay.
Like Ohtani and Judge are superstars.
So this is a good conversation. You are right. I am prematurely naming guys superstars, right? That too early, only half a season, and I'm putting them on an incredibly high level amongst some of the best players in the MLB.
Already in Cooperstown.
But I do think that the MLB right now is a business where if they have someone performing and breaking all of these 100-year records, that you need to put them on that pedestal and you need to talk about them like that. And you need to
but that doesn't make them a superstar.
I think
it makes them a conversation and smart people talking baseball about the best players in this particular season.
But nobody does records better than the MLB in terms of like when you break them and when you do things, it's like nobody presents that better. And when you are breaking those records and you are doing incredible things, you immediately get lifted into that like conversation, into that spotlight of being like a really, really big deal
for the season.
Not
then if you do it again,
totality.
Then you don't have the same conversation. Judge and Ohtani are not in the same conversation that Pete Crow Armstrong and Cal Raleigh are. In 2025, they are, but overall, my opinion, no.
You can be an elevated superstar, I think, for a season in the MLB is kind of where I'm getting at, where I don't think you can really do that.
Maybe I'm hung up on the word super. I think, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm calling them.
There's a potential these two can be stars, and they are technically all stars, and they have a possibility to be the next on their particular teams. But the word super is, we define super differently.
I just think for me, it's just I keep saying superstar because we keep talking about them and they are.
But
like
I don't
the
ever
two
say
I don't
say. I know we're not saying
they're not the two best players though.
In 2025. Oh God, great player.
Yes,
but Ohtani has done it. Bang bang bang. Judge has done it. Bang bang bang.
Absolutely.
That's what I like. I like to be sustained. I love you and I'll brace you in this season, and then if you do it next year, the conversation elevates again.
Yeah.
But if you go back to, I don't know, you can't match it, and you maybe don't have as great a year, then what do? Then you're stuck.
Yes.
That's why I like that. I think that's how we, like when we look at Hall of Fames, we look at sustained success, right?
Yes.
Not just one breakthrough.
And I think that's the difference between me calling them superstars and me calling them Hall of Famers, because Pete Crow Armstrong and Cal Raleigh are not. I'm not calling them future Hall of Famers because you mentioned, you have to do that over and over and over again. But we do a really good job of elevating the guys in baseball and talking about the guys in baseball who do things who haven't been done before and who are doing things at a ridiculously high level. And I think when we talk about players that much, it gets past whether or not they can sustain it. And it's just like, what level are we talking about them? And we are talking about Cal Raleigh and Pete Crow Armstrong on a superstar type level, right? I think it's different across sports, how we define the word, I think, and how we judge those things.
I think it's age. I think younger people use the word super for 1 year.
I'm using it though because it's a different sport, and you can be a superstar and be on a superstar level in baseball for 1 year. I think easier than you can in the NBA, because the NBA doesn't have those records that you can, like, that are 100 years old that you can break and do these crazy accomplishments within season. I think of the MLB because we have those records, and
we also, it's part of what you're saying, and I'm with you, is baseball has always been about numbers.
Yes.
That's the only sport that is number based, and stats are used heavily. Perfect. And we know stats, boom, boom, boom.
And I think because of that, and because you can hit that echelon and you can when we're paying, we don't watch when an NBA player is going on like a 30-point streak, right? We don't watch them. We're not like, oh my God, you got to tune in to see if like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has his 13th 30-point game. But when you go on streaks in the MLB, whether it be on base streaks or hitting streaks or home run streaks, or you're close to breaking a record, we zoom in on you and we are like, we are there. And I think because of that, it's easier for us to say, easier for me to be like, this guy's a superstar for this season. In terms of the sustainable success and like being like, who are the better players? Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, regardless of who wins MVP, are the first and second best player in the MLB.
Yep.
Like, that's not even a combo. And it's
Ohtani
like, pick your poison.
Ohtani might be the GOAT.
If he pitches again, yes. If he goes, he's got to pitch. He's got to go back to pitching, and he's got to be a consistent.
And he started.
Pitcher. Yeah.
I mean, I think he pitches this weekend.
So
will he stretch him out to 3 innings?
I hope. I mean, if
he's pretty damn close to being a GOAT.
If he has, I think, 2 more seasons of where he's just like a 3 ERA guy and he's pitching over 140, 150 innings, or, something of that nature, I don't disagree with you. I can't disagree.
I've said if he wins a Cy Young,
it's over.
That solidifies he is the greatest of all time.
It's over. Yeah. But if he really just needs, in my opinion, 2 more seasons of just really solid just pitching, and you can make the argument very easily that he is at least top 3 all time.
All right. Coming up, there was news yesterday because I wish I was in Boulder today.
Wow.
Fun time.
I would love to be in Boulder today.
To talk to Dion?
Just love to be in Boulder. I'll tell you why when we come back. A little bit later, Mike Schaefer, Matt Verzal stop by in 1620 The Zone. All righty, Friday morning. It's the 11th of July. Snack wraps are taking over America.
What?
Yeah, well, people are excited.
Hey, yesterday was a big day for America. Americans won yesterday. Americans that asked for something won yesterday in two ways. One, sports-wise, they did not. They probably will, but they did not do anything with the men's and women's basketball tournament. They were looking at viable options. Americans,
68 teams.
we won.
Mm-hmm.
They may be listening to us, but I'm not naive to think that they're just waiting for the noise to subside and then they're just going to slip it in to go to 72 or 76.
Are we talking about like a 4:45 Friday news dump? Is what we're
during football
get when
season
it comes to the
Yes.
NCAA tournament?
Yes, in the middle of football season,
Week
they will
2's
just
the banger,
slide
right?
it in, and everybody that covers college sports will be off covering college football, and they're like, "Oh,
We have breaking
Okay.
news here from
Big game in
Columbus, as
Columbus.
the Longhorns are taking on the Buckeyes in a heated battle. 17-14 is the score as Arch Manning is leading Texas down the field. We have a quick little announcement. The NCAA tournament expanding to 76 teams. Now, back to the booth. Reese?
It
All right,
also
thanks, Ryan.
also for people that what was it? I think it was during COVID that it went away. The McDonald's army,
Yeah.
they were like, we need the snack wrap back.
Mhm.
And
They
so
always
they've
get
been
the McRib.
bugging McDonald's for like 5 years to get the snack wrap back. Yesterday was snack wrap day in America with McDonald's. The snack wraps, the grab and go, the convenience, the easy to make,
Healthier.
cost you like $1.49. They
Healthier?
were back.
Healthier.
They were back at
Healthier.
McDonald's. But did you guys see what Popeyes is doing
What's
in the
Pop-
snack wrap wars?
Are they doing chicken
Now I'm in.
nuggets?
Give it to me.
No, they have a snack wrap,
Okay.
Love me some Popeyes.
but they're giving away a free.
Oh.
Like I think if you spend $5 or something, you get a free for the
snack
next
wrap?
couple of days. Like they are counter to McDonald's. Good on Popeyes. I think what we need,
Love
because
that
it's
chicken.
the middle of the summer, I think we need more snack wrap wars.
No, we don't.
Yes, we
No,
do.
Yeah.
don't. If you, first off, like,
I can get behind that.
McDonald's is a burger chain, okay? They got really good burgers there.
They used to sell donuts and bagels.
They even their
Well, the bagel sandwiches are back right now.
even their chicken burgers, really great, which is just what a McChicken is. McChicken's just a chicken burger, okay? It's incredible.
You're going to slander the
Right.
Nuggets.
There
are a lot of children that
it's
love the
fine,
Nuggets.
But it's just like they got a lot there other than for everybody to be banging on the wall for a snack wrap. You
It's
know?
cheap.
Like,
It's
cheap.
healthier.
so is everything
It's-
else at McDonald's. Everything else at McDonald's.
No.
No, okay. If you get the Big Mac meal with a large fry, it's not $6 like
We're
it
not
used to be.
getting a Happy
It's
Meal
It's
if
$11
we go together.
now.
You and I are getting
If
a
you
meal.
get 2 cheeseburgers, it's $6. That's a good deal. You get a nice little Diet Coke, you make it 8. That's better than what you're doing at most places.
That
I
Diet
don't know
Coke's
why we're going
delicious.
crazy over. It's not like the snack wrap is better than
It's
the
the
burgers
convenience.
anyway.
It's the grab and go.
Mhm.
It's just simple.
The McRib sucks. There. See,
You take that back. You take that back.
not going to take it back.
You're not cool. All right. Just
See,
because you
look at
say
that.
the McRib is bad doesn't mean you're cool.
Okay.
The McRib is a great sandwich.
Although I would eat
It's
one
a
with you.
great sandwich.
Whoa.
Onions,
Great.
pickles.
But I thought it's a
piggy
burger
barbecue
place.
sauce.
Hold on. Great.
It is. Yes.
What else is a great sandwich?
A hoagie is a great sandwich. Turkey sandwich is a good sandwich. The Pepe from Jimmy John's is a good sandwich. The cold cut from Subway is a good sandwich. If you
Just
go
the
ahead,
cold
you
cut?
get the mishmash at Potbelly. That's a really good sandwich.
Great. You like to you super and great this morning.
Meanwhile, here in good old
welcome to
Omaha, the
Friday.
Jimmy Allen Special at Gandolfo's
PCA's
is fantastic.
and Cal Raleigh are having superstar seasons. I don't
Type-
think
superstar type seasons.
superstar type seasons.
They're not superstars.
Okay.
Yet.
I will.
Yet.
I
Yet.
will.
Yet.
I will concede. I will concede.
You
I
can't
am
say the McRib is a great
I'm
sandwich.
not
You can say
conceding
it's
to
a
that.
good sandwich.
not conceding.
Great.
Not conceding. It's a great sandwich.
All right. So if I pressed you, would you put McRib on the Mount Rushmore of sandwiches?
Yes.
You're taking McRib and 7 Gate. Oh.
Whoa.
The Connor Happer Show is next.
Whoa. The McRib is on
Is
the
a
Mount.
great. It's a great. Yes, of my Mount Rushmore of my favorite sandwiches. The McRib is.
What
up
else
there.
is on there? Like poop and 2
Essentially-
pieces
okay,
of bread?
Essentially, a barbecue sandwich at McDonald's makes your Mount Rushmore.
So the McRib, the Big Kahuna over at Jersey Mike's. That's like their Philly cheesesteak
Right.
Mhm.
type sandwich.
Yeah, that's pretty
good sandwich.
That's good. Yeah.
Then I love the buffalo chicken sandwich over at Pickleman's. That's an incredible
Okay.
sandwich. And then I would say the cold cut from Subway is on my Mount Rushmore because it's what I grew up eating. Okay. This is
It's no
not Matt
meatball sub.
McMaster telling you what the 4 best sandwiches are. This is Matt McMaster telling you what his 4 favorite sandwiches are. And my Mount Rushmore,
McRib is a Thanksgiving meal.
The Mick Mount Rushmore of, if you will,
Mick
of sandwiches has the McRib. You're telling me that you don't enjoy getting that nice little beefy bite in between some two really good pieces of bread that is seasoned with a beautiful tangy barbecue
Matt,
sauce.
I lived in Kansas City.
Nice
Ribs do not look
sharp
like
bite
that.
of onion. It's an incredible. It's
Okay.
an incredible
Slab of
sandwich.
ribs, a couple pieces of bread there. There's your McRib.
Let me tell you about my experience with one time with a McRib.
Oh no.
Did you get a bone in it?
No.
Okay.
I believe that I was eating meat that had been harvested from tree bark. It had been soaked in water for a couple of days, and then it had been coated marginally in some barbecue sauce. I actually, you know what? I probably should have said thank you to McDonald's when I had the McRib, because it harkened back to my days at St. Pius X having a lunch there.
That's not good.
You know, in Luxembourg, you can get the McRib year round. Fun fact.
What is a Luxembourg?
Luxembourg is the
That's my
the
point.
place in Europe.
It's a town in Iowa.
How many people actually finish the McRib? Maybe one,
you're
two
looking,
bites in.
You're looking with two guys who has thumbs who finishes his McRib is right here. Okay.
Shout out to my
Look,
dispensary.
am I calling the McRib barbecue? No, I'm not. I'm not calling it barbecue. I'm not comparing it to, brisket sandwiches or pulled pork sandwiches or any of those types of sandwiches, because that's barbecue. That's
Connor, if you're
different-
listening, when y'all go to
that's-
Kansas City, will you take our boy to some real food?
That's a whole different thing. Okay. I'm just telling you, I love the McRib, and it's one of my favorite sandwiches. And I have no shame about it. And I think that there are people like you who've had the McRib who might not have had the best experience, and you're totally okay. That happens. But then there are people like Jimmy who probably hasn't had a McRib in 20 years.
There's
and
a reason.
Just thinks it's cool.
I haven't
to
wet
say
the
that
bed in
McRib is
35.
terrible
There's
and
a
make fun of
reason.
The McRib. The McRib is a lot like Nickelback. Okay, if you listen to
Now
Nickelback songs, you'll say that Nickelback is really good at music, and you'll enjoy Nickelback. But if you don't listen to Nickelback,
I never
you'll
said that.
join in with everybody else and say that they suck.
Leader of Men, one of their first singles, fantastic. Everything else.
See, now I'm a little worried about you here.
You know what? When you gamble as much as I do, you got to have a lot of McRibs.
Some could make the case that
I'm
a
kidding. I'm
McRib
kidding.
is delicious and disgusting at the same time.
Yes.
But you know what?
There are a lot of
It's
things.
fatty. It's high in salt. It's highly processed. It's not any kind of natural meat. Let me see what else about the McRib. Maybe 20 years ago when it debuted, it was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. But you know what? It's terrible.
And it still
It
looks
is
the same.
absolutely terrible. And the fact that it is a barbecue, okay? It is a barbecue, and it's on your Mount Rushmore.
It's not. I'm not telling you what the best sandwiches are. I'm just telling you what my favorite sandwiches are. My top 4 sandwiches.
But aren't the presidents that are on Mount Rushmore
Thank
the
you,
best
Connor.
presidents of all time?
I just love a McRib, okay? And I'm sick and tired of being shamed of it, all right? I am, because I do get shamed about it. You're talking to the guy, by the way, you go, the McRib is delicious, but it's also disgusting. You're talking to the guy who loves White Castle, okay? That's the same thing, all right? It's the same exact thing.
No wonder you have
I don't
acid
mind a
reflux.
White Castle hamburger once in a while, a little slider in the white container.
Little onions.
But
the
that's
pickle
not
and the
going on
onion.
the Mount Rushmore.
Of burgers?
If of all the barbecue type sandwiches,
Yeah.
and maybe
I
you have not had a lot
love
of
the-
barbecue.
I have had an okay amount of barbecue. I've had good barbecue. I'm not comparing the McRib. I'm just telling you my 4 favorite sandwiches.
Connor's got
the
you.
McRib
Don't worry.
is without a doubt number 1. Okay, it's a cousin of mine, if you will.
Wow.
All right, we'll take care of you in 48 days.
Or 28 days.
Let's tell you, if
20
you're gonna
days
bring
after
something
20
back to
days.
McDonald's, bring back the McRib. I don't want
It
the
has come
snack
back on a
wraps.
more regular basis. I don't
No,
think it's
I've been
permanently
very-
on the
been
menu,
very
but
happy about it.
once in a while it'll come back.
McRib better than a Shamrock Shake. Now that's overrated.
I don't like mince, so I'm.
That's overrated.
That's like a 3-2
That's an
win.
overrated specialized
That's
menu
like
item.
6-4.
Now I'm not. When I was a young kid, I
Yeah.
liked the Shamrock Shake. I'm not going out of my way, but you're just ridiculous this morning. There are. It's not it's Shamrock Shake is a little
It's
but
not
you're
that
gonna
good.
put the McRib. Why don't you combine them, and then you will realize
go.
that you have garbage.
Yeah.
that
It's
is
in the blender.
being ingested.
If you want to have a good mint shake, go to Baskin Robbins.
And yet he
okay?
doesn't
Or
watch
go to
Joey
Ted and
Chestnut.
Wally's, or go to go to a true ice cream shop and get like a nice scooped out
Ooh,
mint chocolate
Wait a minute.
chip
Okay,
ice
hold on.
cream
It just dawned on me of
shake.
something here.
Okay.
Listening to you.
Mhm.
Okay, because I see what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
go to a place that
Oh, no.
specializes
Damn
in
it.
hamburgers.
Damn it!
Go
Damn
to a
it.
place that
Damn it.
specializes
Damn
in
it.
ice cream.
No,
But Matt over here goes to a place that specializes in hamburgers and thinks the best thing on the menu is something barbecue. When there are so many great barbecue places, and there's a variety of regional barbecue around the world and around this wonderful country. Am I piecing through this here?
I think I put baby in a corner.
Okay.
I think you put baby in the dumpster.
All right, let me move on. Let me tell you why I would like to be in Boulder this morning.
Okay.
Because if we were in Boulder doing this show, we would come to work in a peculiar way.
And we'd have beautiful mountains to look at.
Yeah, but we have some nice trees on 50th and Dodge.
No, but I've been in
Traffic's
Boulder.
moving.
But look,
I know that a lot.
It's cloudy. We could maybe see, like if we were looking the other way, we could see the Les Hills.
You wouldn't want to see the iron wall right here
The
looking
flat
out
irons.
like the flat irons. Yeah, sorry, Jimmy, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The iron wall,
Yeah.
iron flat. Guys,
You're
I
talking to
went up there
two people
once.
who've been to Boulder a lot.
Iron Range, is that what it's called? The Iron Range. I have a picture of it on my phone. I went to Boulder once. It was absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I love Boulder. I know that a lot of people here in Nebraska don't like Boulder because
They don't
of the
like how
football
they're
team that
treated in
plays there,
Boulder.
but Boulder itself is an incredibly beautiful city.
Smells good.
Okay. Like weed?
What? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I know.
Well, it's very much a granola community. But
Yeah.
today, and this
No,
kind of
come on,
shows
no,
it,
candles,
this would be a great
incense.
thing to do. So I've spent, I mean, like most of us Nebraskans, Omahans, that is our vacation home. We go out to Denver, Aspen,
Mhm.
Breckenridge, Vale, all over. And I love the community of Golden. It's not just Coors,
Yes.
but I love Golden. 4th of
pretty.
July, they always have a great event in Golden. But I have tubed in the Boulder Creek before. And today in Boulder, how you get to work, it's become an annual event, is you tube to work on the Boulder Creek. Now, for anybody that knows, the Boulder Creek, I don't care if it's the middle of the summer, the Boulder Creek is cold.
Oh, yeah.
It is really, really cold. But you tube to work today. That is what
That's
happens
the
in Boulder,
tradition.
right on the
Mhm.
Boulder Creek. It's Tube Boulder Creek to Work Day in Boulder, Colorado.
Save
If the
money on
storm,
gas.
if the storm was about 6 hours later, we'd be tubing to work today too.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Have you been whitewater rafting or done
Yes.
any of those?
Yes.
Is it as good as people claim it is?
You have to go. It depends on your level of like the rapids.
Sure.
Like
okay,
if you want
okay.
something, like you can, you have a lot of tours that are self-guided in Colorado.
Yeah.
And some of them are on nice rapids where you're going to get the thrill.
Mhm.
Others are just kind of leisurely.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends.
It's like an elevated lazy
Yeah.
river in a
But
way.
I used to hang out with somebody that was very outdoorsish.
Okay.
So, and they loved Colorado. So we spent a lot of time out there. And so we would
Sure.
do those kind of things. And I could see myself being a Birkenstock, or
They're
a
good on the feet.
Birkenstock, Doc Martin, I maybe got a braid or two in the hair, smoke a little weed.
I'm
Hemp
gonna be,
necklace?
this is not.
I got a tattoo.
I don't want it. This is not an insult to you
Yeah.
whatsoever. I really do think that you would be a great like outdoors guide, type deal. Like you would.
How
be
you
great, like,
doing?
hey guys,
I'm
how
Gary
are you?
Sharp.
All right, here's your label. Okay, here's your rope.
Yeah. I didn't.
And we're gonna fall back. You'd make the jokes. You'd call somebody out.
Gary
you'd make
Wagner?
But I've
everybody
never
laugh.
lived in a place where I think if I lived in a place where it was outdoorsy,
Sure.
like I'd be,
Right.
like I would be like, hey, part-time job at REI. What do you need? All right, here. You want to get on the climbing wall? This is what you do. All right, here's you fasten. You got the harness on. If I lived if I lived in a place that like
That vest
Colorado
is
that had those options,
$330.
I could see myself as an outdoorsman.
I can imagine people being like, "You got a great voice. You ever think about doing radio?"
No, not at all.
No, I like working the checkout line at REI.
By the way, I love your description of like if I lived in Boulder, I'd have like a braid and I'd smoke a little weed. I mean, you mean you'll be in Sandals, Jamaica? I mean, that's what.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Lawrence, Kansas? Well, what?
I like Boulder. I don't know enough people like Boulder that likes Rick George's idea yesterday that
There it is.
Colorado wants to play Nebraska. They want to play him regularly, so they're not on the schedule to play again. And I looked at Rick George when he said this. He was on a podcast. He's the athletic director of Colorado, if you didn't know. And I'm like, I know why you want to play Colorado.
Or why you want to play Nebraska?
Or why you want to play Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because,
Cha-ching.
yes, you need finances, and
Big time.
Nebraska supplements Colorado's athletic department with the amount of people from Nebraska that will go to a game in Boulder and spend the money. And so that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, Nah, you aren't thinking about it. Well, we want to play Nebraska because our fans are clamoring for it. You're like, you know what? Those Nebraskans, we love the red in our stadium because they're going to buy our tickets. They're going to buy our season tickets because we're going to screw you over there in the 402. You're going to buy the beer. You're going to put heads in beds in Boulder. Sure. You're going to eat our food, smoke our weed, pay our taxes off the weed and everything else in Boulder. We want you to come out here. Yeah, we want to play Nebraska. But I think this would be a split if we did a poll. Why would Nebraska want to play Colorado? And would you want to play Colorado?
I would only
remember we just zipped Tennessee off. I think Oklahoma State and Arizona are the two semi-marquee teams that are out there. Oklahoma comes back on the schedule.
So this has been a very quiet story from the beginning of when Deion got hired when it comes to the finances of Colorado. In the opening press conference, it was made very aware, we're figuring out how we're going to pay this guy this money. And I'm assuming that a lot of people in Boulder have been very well aware of it, but I feel like nationally we haven't paid attention to the fact that the University of Colorado Boulder raised their tuition by 4% last year. Okay,
already expensive.
I know that's a pretty big tuition increase.
Any university that doesn't raise their tuition year by year,
it was expensive when I was in college. And I'm old.
Well, didn't Nebraska isn't Lincoln this upcoming year going to 5% or the Nebraska system? I don't think a 4% increase is that significant in these days. It just seems like every year.
Wow. Okay, maybe I'll eat my words.
Is Nebraska 5%?
It's 5%.
Yeah.
Eat it like it's a McRib.
Okay, but still, regardless, though, we have talked about the fact that Boulder has a financial issue, and I don't think Nebraska fans would really want to play Colorado unless Deion was the coach.
Bingo. I am lockstep with you.
I wouldn't want it because that's what brings Colorado attention. That's what brings eyes to the television.
You're helping them more than they're helping you.
Absolutely. What Colorado was terrible for multiple years and kind of irrelevant before Deion came in and became the head coach. And then all of a sudden we were all in on Boulder, right? Boulder really only matters in the national college football picture in a way because of Deion Sanders. So if he's not there, I don't want to play him every year. I'd much rather play Iowa. Much rather play Iowa every year.
John on the stream's Colorado. Perfect. There are about 6 other Big 8 schools I'd rather play before going back to Boulder.
Well, when you don't play Colorado for a while and you come back in 18-19, I can see the buildup. Okay, because you haven't played Colorado for a while, you haven't gotten to go to Boulder and watch Nebraska play. There probably would not have been the same buzz like you were alluding to, and you're spot on. Is if Deion was not coaching in 23-24, Deion elevated the second go-around of Colorado. 18-19 was new because we hadn't been to Boulder, hadn't seen Colorado in Memorial Stadium. You know what? You get all fired up.
Yeah.
And then you get a gift because instead of Mike McIntyre or Carl Durrell on the sidelines, you get Deion and you're like, here we go. I agree with our streamers that variety is the thing, but we don't know what Nebraska is going to look like scheduling-wise moving forward. We don't know what college football is going to look like, but it's simple. Just do this, please. And, I wanted Tennessee because I like variety and I like big stadiums and I like, experiences. Give me one tune-up game every year. Give me one mid-game.
Yep.
And then give me one name game. And I'm very, very happy. That's all I need in my non-con. One tune-up game, one mid-game, one name game. Kind of Nebraska had that schedule this past year,
I think,
where they went Colorado, they went UTEP, and then they went to Northern Iowa. So they had a mid. I know UTEP is struggling, but still the tune-up Northern Iowa, and then they had the name in Colorado. And that has kind of been the scheduling philosophy for a long time around here with Nebraska. You look like in the heydays, that was the schedule. You'd play one name game in the non-con, but then there would be, everybody and his brother's brother could play in a game.
Yeah.
And then you play one that maybe was a paper tiger. It was a name you recognized, but it wasn't going to threaten you.
No, and it was one of those games where it gets you in seats, and if we play terrible, we might slip and lose, but we're probably not going to slip and lose. But I think I look at Notre Dame, and I joke about the whole, every team that they play is a rival type deal. But I do respect the fact that they have a long tradition of playing many teams, and they go out of their way to make sure that every once in a while they reignite those games, whether or not they be big rivals or small rivals, right? Michigan State, Michigan, right? USC, like they make sure that they keep the teams that people have memories with around, and they create that variety. I think Nebraska has that history, right? And has been playing college football for so long and high-level college football for a very long portion of that, where there is a history with multiple different teams, and you would enjoy variety. I would like to play Oklahoma State. I think it would be a different game. Like it would be interesting to play.
Still on this planet Earth in 2034 and 2035, you'll be able to see the Cowboys and the Huskers.
Yeah, I want to play. I think it'd be
that
pretty
game
cool.
will be on the schedule.
I know that Nebraska.
I'll meet up with you, Matt.
I'll
bring an insure.
I know that Nebraska.
I'll need one.
I know that Nebraska doesn't necessarily have this storied tradition with Kansas State because they kicked their ass all the time. But
it should have been a penalty.
I would like to see this now Kansas State with Chris Kleiman and like the program that they've built and how consistently good that they've been. I would love to see this Kansas State play this Nebraska, right? Like I would love to have some of those regional varieties. I don't need Colorado every year. I don't need to be like that. I feel like you talked about forcing rivalries. I feel like that's like a forcing of a rehashing of a rivalry in a way. You know, like it's just like we're really trying to dig up this nostalgia. It's like when WWE brings back Hulk Hogan for the like 18th time. It's like, all right, we did it. We did it. It was fun. We beat them.
Didn't we get a sense when Tennessee was off the schedule that as long as Matt Rule is here and nothing changes, like you don't get dinged for not playing anybody in the non-con, the idea of playing the Colorados and the Oklahomas and the I'll just leave it. Those two are going to be a remote thing, and more Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota is going to be the case.
I think that
I need to get rid of FCS teams. Hey, love Dan Jackson. 2030. I don't want to see DJ. Well, DJ won't because he's going places.
Sure.
I don't want to see DJ coaching South Dakota State and Lincoln in 2030.
I think that
with South Dakota, the Jackrabbits.
The whole having an easy non-con schedule is very much a Nebraska adapting in a way to the college football playoff and understanding, hey, if we don't need to play difficult teams in the non-con, we're not going to play difficult teams in the non-con. I do think, though, and I don't think Matt Rule has proven anything other than the fact that he will adapt to what is best for Nebraska. And I think if there does come a point where everybody else is doing what you're talking about, right? Having the tune-up, then the mid, then the really, big name team.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody else is doing that, and that's hampering Nebraska and hampering their resume when it comes to playoff time, there's no doubt in my mind that Nebraska will then do that.
Well, I think that's the advantage of having Troy Dannon on a committee.
Yes.
Because they'll be able to discuss that. But Nebraska for the next 3 years after this year is kind of locked in. So Northern Illinois, Miami of Ohio, Northern Iowa is 27. 28 is UTEP, South Dakota State, and Arizona. I guess South Dakota State's that series starts in 28. I mean, those are the next 3. This year is locked in, of course. The next 3 years, they're all locked in. I mean, Arizona.
Yeah,
that's
fine.
The next 3 years past 25 is the biggest non-con game.
I think for me though, I'm okay with them doing what they are doing now with having a terrible non-con, because that's what has proven to help you make to the college football playoff. I, though, am firmly in the camp of eventually I would like Nebraska to play teams that you don't see Nebraska play a lot. And I would like to travel to away stadiums, that I haven't been to before, or places that I like. That's the allure a little bit of like college football, where there are just cities that you would never really vacation to, but you would go and you would explore that city because you're going to see your team play there. I think that's rooted in college football. I want Nebraska to go back.
Yeah, as long as like an Indiana doesn't get dinged for their non-con and they're able to find a path to the playoff through the Big Ten and nothing in September is held against them, Nebraska is actually smart. It sucks for us fans because I would have loved to go to Knoxville. I would have loved next year to see Tennessee in here. It would have been a great matchup. It would have gotten all the publicity. It just would have been a cool experience. So if you're scheduling to make the playoff, you're doing it the right way. But college football isn't doing it the right way.
No,
college football. No. But if we so does Nebraska and other schools that are following this idea, even though there are a handful that are like, no, man, we're going to play a tough game.
Sure.
If they implement, and I don't think we'll know what the playoff for next year and beyond looks like before December 1.
Mm-hmm.
Do some of these schools that, if we get the 4+4 model, do some of these schools blow up these crap non-conference schedules and they go, okay, we can go back to scheduling a big-time opponent?
See, I don't think so, because I still think the idea will be, and I think Indiana would argue, we have an advantage of winning 3 games in a row and playing and, figuring stuff up and playing 3 tune-up games essentially before we head in and we play our big games, right? I think that the non-con games back in the day were so important because they would kind of set the barometer for the rest of the leagues, right? Like if you were getting if the Big 12, if they were playing non-cons against the SEC and they were getting their ass kicked, you could say, okay, hey, I don't think the Big 12 is as good as the SEC this year, vice versa. Now that you have the 4+4, if you were to have that, I don't think anybody's really like, we don't need a barometer. We just need to do good amongst ourselves. So what's going to help us do good amongst ourselves? Is that going to be playing top teams that are going to push us before we end up in conference? Or is it going to be playing 3 tomato cans that we can get all of these nooks and crannies out of the way and we can smooth things out? And then when we play the teams we need to beat, we're ready to go. So honestly, if anything, I would say maybe a 4+4 might encourage like teams to like go with a weaker non-con, because now you're not even looking to set yourself up, like measure yourself up against the other conferences. You're just looking.
But don't you think if you, so in the 4+4, I disagree.
Okay.
Because I think that you have a spot locked in, so you're going to play a tough game and it's not going to ding you, but it might help you.
It might help you if you win that game.
But if you're still in the 5, if you're still in the 5+11, a lot of it's based on record.
If we
more wins better.
Sure.
But play a tougher schedule in where your league is guaranteed 4 games.
But the at-large bids, right, are smaller than your conference bids. And so if you're the Big Ten or the SEC. So if I'm a Big Ten team or I'm an SEC team, I'm only thinking about, hey, what my conference record is going to be. And can I be top 4 or, probably top 6, because you play those playoff games. Can I be top 6 in my conference? If I'm thinking to myself, what is going to help my team more? Playing Wyoming in week 3 and winning that game and, trying some different things, or playing LSU and having a very difficult game where I might get banged up and I might lose some confidence and I might, not be feeling my best heading into the conference schedule. So I think that's the one thing about that 4+4. You really just kind of shorten the season in a way to your 8 or 9 conference games, because that is what is going to determine that you get into the playoff, right? More so than anything, right? I don't think that teams are really going to be like, when you have 2, so it'd be 4+, you're going to have 2 at-large bids. Like, I don't think teams are really aiming for, hey, we got to protect ourselves for the at-large bids. I think teams are just aiming, hey, we got to make sure we're top 6 in our conference.
All right, a little bit later, Mike Schaefer will join the show. Matt Verzal as well on a Friday. 48 days away. You can start dreaming of week number 1 when we have good matchups. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Florida State, LSU, Clemson, Miami, and Notre Dame. Not bad. Not a bad opening weekend. We're back with more. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, another night of storms that have rolled through the area. And as you wake up and you get outside and you look at your house and you're like, oh boy, the storm did a damage on my house last night. I got to take care of it, and I got to take care of it quickly. Well, turn to the MVPs of roofing in Omaha, Moose Roofing. People like Pat Moose, Andy, Sean Michael, Josiah, Elijah, they are there for you. So you're thinking, oh, geez, a contractor? Well, first of all, it's local. Moose Roofing has been in business for nearly 30 years. Why? Because they're here before, during, and after the storm to deliver you a peace of mind when you say, why are all of those shingles missing from my roof? Why do we have leakage? Why is the siding been ripped off the side of my house? Well, Moose Roofing can help you navigate that entire process, from dealing with the storm damage or the insurance process. Once you schedule an inspection, they'll come out, they'll sit down with you, they'll get to know you, and they'll get to know your issues, and then they go to work. They get on your roof. They take all the pictures, all the video. They work through their great knowledge of the systems that they use, and then they present it to you. And then you go, all right, what about our insurance? Pat Moose has even picked up the phone and said, hey, this is the deal with our client. This is what we're going to do. Boom. Then the process begins and you have a brand new roof. It's that simple. Make it easy on yourself. Deal with local, deal with the best. Moose Roofing. For more information and to schedule an inspection today, go to their website, mooseroofing.com. All right, welcome back in. Jerry in the Equitable Bank inbox. No, we do not want to play Colorado. Colorado wants to play you because they want your money.
Play Colorado State.
Coloradoans love Nebraska's money. They want you to come out and go to Red Rocks. They want you to go skiing. They want you to come see the Rockies, which still are, I think the Rockies are 14th in attendance in Major League Baseball.
It's a great ballpark.
It is a wonderful ballpark to watch a god-awful baseball team.
But you can watch the other team.
Like that have that aura when it comes to their stadiums, that your stadium can be so good that regardless of how bad the product is, you still want to go out there and you still want to be
the Dallas Cowboys. They sell out every game.
Like, well,
that is true.
That's not because Jerry's World is absolutely incredible. It's because you guys have built an insane fan base.
Jerry's World is pretty cool.
I know it is, but it's not just because Jerry's World is awesome.
We should go together.
It's because the Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Cowboys.
Our baseball team.
Yes. Market Park?
Wrigley Field.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The thing that's always bugged me about the Cubs and spending money is people go to Wrigley Field because it's Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
and
but
when the Cubs are bad, people still go to Wrigley Field, especially during the summer.
Fenway?
Now, Fenway is another one.
But Wrigley Field is touristy, right? Like if you're in Chicago, you have to go to, those are the people going to Wrigley Field. From the people like you and I who were regularly going to 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 games a year, it's not that great of a ballpark if we're being honest.
Well, yeah, you're there for your team.
No. It's a smelly ballpark.
So,
it's our smelly ballpark.
So
but it's still
if
smelly.
that was kind of what you were saying about venues that people will go regardless. Okay, so what you just said, and you're right, it's the seats are tight and the concourses are tight.
Parking's
you're
terrible.
You're like, I'm not going to go. But why do people go?
Immaculate.
Because they're attracted to going to Wrigley Field.
Yes, the tourists are for sure. You're right in that regard. But if the Cubs were bad, if the Cubs were really, really bad, you've seen it before.
People still go.
But
that the bleachers are full.
But not in April and May when the weather is super crappy.
No,
and it's but when they're great,
September,
everybody is there.
But during the summer,
during
when
the
they're
summer,
bad,
it's always there. Yes.
People they'll put $40K in there,
Absolutely.
and that bugs me because what kind of a statement? You know what? You can be in the front office and have the wallet and go, "Hey, we're bad, but people are still coming to our venue." I mean, aren't we kind of going to morph into what you just brought up, a Memorial Stadium conversation
of modernizing it?
No, that even the product on the field, people still come. Now,
but
do they come as much? But how many other places in the country can go through what the Nebraska fan base has gone through and still at least have 69,000 people go into a stadium?
See, that's not a Memorial Stadium thing, though. That's not because I love Memorial Stadium and I want to be at Memorial Stadium. It's because so many people love the Huskers, and that's just what you do. The team has built that. But back to the stadium thing, like what you bring up with Wrigley, in a way, spot on. That's another baseball stadium, right? I don't know too many football stadiums or basketball stadiums.
Lambeau.
Where you're like...
The Packers were once bad.
Okay.
Way before your time.
Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not...
They were once bad before my time.
Baseball, though, per capita has to be way higher off the top of my head than most. Fenway. Old Yankee Stadium. New Yankee Stadium.
I think it probably also has to do with
Park.
the time of the year that baseball is played. It's a vacation sport. People go on vacation. They're going to go to Dodger Stadium regardless if the Dodgers are good or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's what they're doing when they go to Los Angeles. So that probably is a little bit different why baseball is looked at from, hey, I'm going to go because it doesn't matter if the team is good or bad.
Yeah. But
especially if you don't live in that market.
It's funny, though, with the whole the downtime of baseball, the importance of having a good concourse and having good food and having things seriously and being able to just sometimes walk around and look at different things and be like, oh, I want to discover this ballpark. I ain't doing that during a Nebraska game. I'm not like, oh, we're in the second quarter.
And maybe in this conversation, football is just different. Football needs to be a standalone because football is so emotional. There's an emotional tie to football. So maybe it's tough to compare.
Well, Madison Square Garden, if you want basketball arena.
Yeah. I mean, even when the Knicks have had their down years, it wasn't packed,
But you're still like, hey, I got to go to MSG. I got to go to the Garden.
Yeah.
But I'm not really like, I don't really think about that with the United Center or Chesapeake Bay Arena.
You know who might be the smartest fans? The Yankee fans.
Why is that? Because they do the roll call?
No. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
I like it.
Look at Yankee Stadium. Now, Yankee Stadium is expensive, but even the good Yankee teams, I mean, you would say, hey, man, I got to go to Yankee Stadium. It's not like the previous Yankee Stadium, by the way.
With Bob
Still pretty cool, but not like the old one that was across the street. Look at the empty seats even when the Yankees are playing well.
Yep.
You don't get that at Fenway.
No.
Those nice seats are always empty.
But to finish Jerry's email, he does not want to play Colorado. Why would we? What is the upside to playing Colorado? They have way more to gain if they beat us than we do if we beat them.
So
we have way more to lose if we lose to them than they do if they lose to us. There are a lot of teams out there who I'd want to play before I'd want to play them. This is coming from Colorado, by the way, if you're just tuning in. Their athletic director was on a podcast and said, I'm paraphrasing, hell yes, we would like to play Nebraska because we like Nebraskans' money.
If Nebraska lost to Colorado last year.
That's what he should have said. How about some honesty?
If Nebraska lost Colorado last year, would people be clamoring to play Colorado? Because I think so. I think if Nebraska lost that game to Deion at home, there would be a very sour taste and a lot of fans' mouths to the point where we got to get him back. We can't prove that Deion is better than us. We can't let Colorado walk around like they're the better program. We know we're the better, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. I feel like because of last year, and not just because Nebraska won the game, but because Nebraska kicked their ass, like that people were like, all right, that's old news. We proved what we needed to prove. We knew that, our program was heading in the right direction, or we thought this about your program. We thought we were going to win. We won. We're done. Like that's how I see. I think if Nebraska lost that game last year, there'd be a lot more people being like, no, I want to play them. But now it's kind of like, what does Nebraska have to gain? And so it's kind of like that with Prime, right? Like if you don't have to lose to Prime, why would you want to lose to Prime? Like because Prime, I don't want to say you become a joke, but you become a footnote, and you become something that he brags about, and you become something that he can make a point on. If you don't have to, you don't want to.
I would love to see us get out of this mindset of we've got to play old Big 8 and Big 12 friends. I like variety. That's why I love the Tennessee matchup that was sitting right there. It had been kicked down the road so many different times, but it was right there. SEC, Big 10, it's unique. It's a venue. I like experiences. I'm a big proponent. If I come to play at the University of Nebraska and I'm there for 5 years, I want to be able to play in every single venue in the conference. Now that's going to be much more difficult. Sure. You added 4 teams. But I'm for the experiences, and I'm for the experiences of the fans. We've been to everywhere in the Big 8. We've been to everywhere in the Big 12. Why can't we have some variety? Like something new. That's why Tennessee was like, oh.
Sure.
But like, you know that I'm not clamoring to have Nebraska and Oklahoma get back together. Maybe every 10, 15 years. But I don't want to see it on a regular basis. We've been there, done that.
I think it's good.
Even though that would probably benefit both programs to play that game.
I think it's good to always revisit those rivalries, but I don't think there's any point in consistently doing them anymore. Like I don't want to say it's tired, or I don't want to say it's like it's whatever. Like I am not for never play Colorado again, never play Oklahoma again. I would like at some point in the next decade or two for Nebraska.
You get Colorado or Oklahoma in 29-30.
See, that's totally fine with me. Like every 10 years, you have a home and home with Oklahoma. You reignite that. Yeah. You get some good memories. Maybe the kids who weren't alive during that peak rivalry, right? Who weren't alive during those things, their parents get to take them to Norman and say, hey, we used to come here for these games and whatnot. That's fun.
Rest in peace, Sugars, if you know.
But I don't need an every year thing. I only need an every year thing with the people that I actually want to be rivals with, that are actually going to consistently like elevate me within my conference. And that would be Iowa.
Sean says, well, that's as long as that's the protected rivalry, that's going to stay.
I know.
I heard K-State and Iowa State may not be a protected rivalry.
No.
26-27.
Yeah, that's a load of crap.
They would still think about playing each other, but it'd be a non-con game?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Wow. What?
Yeah. Oh, Commissioner Swagger needs to go and fix that.
Yeah, we were all being lovey-dovey on your mark a couple of days
Fix
ago.
the damn thing. Yeah, get it right. They need each other.
Sean,
Good rivalry.
Sean writes in, this is good and this is petty, and Dannon should say this today on a podcast or on a radio show in Omaha. I wouldn't want to play Colorado simply because Colorado wants to play us.
I mean, it's always nice to be the guy that goes to the girl, but sometimes there's a benefit to everybody. I don't know about that. I mean, I think playing Colorado would be nice in the future. It'd be fun in the future. I just don't want to play
like a
them
hookup,
every year.
Random.
Eventually, I mean, look, if Dion starts to win, okay, let's say that let's
they're
say,
out.
Let's say
They have some interesting home and homes here.
Colorado does.
Yeah.
If Colorado starts to win without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, and they actually become like a regular Big 12 power, and they are heading in a great direction, and Dion is still the coach, I think that would definitely trigger people to change their minds about, hey, we want to play Colorado.
And I'm going to be the next voice of the
Because
San Antonio Spurs.
I think the fact that they don't have the superstar power and they're not going to be very good this year, people are like, why would we play a bad Colorado team? Because if we lose, it's going to be embarrassing.
So they start a home and home with Georgia Tech this year because they open up on that Friday night where Mark Jones will be there.
Of course.
Oh, God.
He was
he was awful last night.
He was.
LeBron James Jr. No one calls him that.
Oh.
No one calls Bronny James LeBron James Jr. No one in their life have ever called him that.
I was listening to him yesterday. I go, I feel like we're going to have a Mark Jones conversation tomorrow. Tim Legler was great.
He's always great.
Tim Legler's awesome.
I wish Tim Legler would be more courtside than in a box in his house in D.C.
You don't like LeBron James Jr.? Maybe Bronny requested that he wanted to be called LeBron James Jr., that he doesn't want to be called Bronny. Doesn't Bronny sound a little like meh? Like it sounds a little like
I think he plays a lot
nickname-ish. Well, he played pretty well yesterday.
I mean, I
learned more about Bronny than Cooper Flagg.
Well, Cooper Flagg did shoot 5 of 21.
No, but I know what I'm getting at Cooper Flagg.
Oh, sure.
Should be good.
Bronny was pretty good defensively. Now that's his calling card to stay in the league. He wasn't bad. I mean, he gave about a foot to Cooper Flagg because it looked like a little guy against a big guy. He did what he's going to keep him in the NBA.
He did what Jay Crowder did to Anthony Davis. It's just like, I can't believe this is happening.
But it is not LeBron James Jr.
Bronny looked like a guy who had been through a full NBA schedule playing against a bunch of guys who just came from
and he didn't have a great stat line, but he was better defensively.
And he looked like he could actually operate the floor. Like he was operating in fast break. He was operating in the half court. He was actually doing some hesitation dribbles off of the pick and roll, getting himself slithering to the cup.
26, Colorado plays at Georgia Tech and Northwestern.
Hey, Matt, let's go. Our Cats.
I mean,
that's interesting that you go on the road for 2 non-con games.
That just shows you how much of a Northwestern football fan I am. I had no clue that was happening.
27 is the return game to Boulder. 28, they go to Florida. 29, Florida comes to Boulder. Now, Colorado State gets back on the schedule in 29. They don't play that game at Mile High anymore. It's on campus. 30, they have SMU at Mizzou. Mizzou goes to Boulder in 31, and then after that, it's Colorado State gets back on the schedule on the regular. So if this was to happen, Nebraska right now has Oklahoma on the 29-30 schedule. Colorado doesn't have an opening again until 32. So
it would be.
I see what you're doing, Rick George. You need some money.
8 years. I don't know. I would think every 10. I'm cool with that. But that's the problem though. If you're doing Oklahoma every 10 and you're doing Colorado every 10, then you're basically cooped up for 4 of the 10 years. So then you only really get to pick 3 different like home and home like places to go and travel.
That's why, you know what? Nebraska, just wait for the SEC alliance in a schedule and you'll get an extra game out of the SEC and we'll just move forward. And
that would be.
I just need. I need one tune-up. I need one mid that's got a name that you go, okay, Paper Tiger, and then I need one that gets like, okay, here we go, and then we go into conference season.
So hey, we're taking a field trip right to Northwestern Medicine at Martin Stadium.
Yep.
On Saturday, September 19th, 2026. Can we just mark that down in our calendars?
Yeah,
We're all
I'll
going to
be
be there. Cool.
Mhm.
We're going to be in the new stadium.
You're on
It's gonna be the
babysitting
first
duty.
time. First time we'll be in the new stadium. We'll be together. We'll go. We'll see Dion coaching against.
That is their first game?
It's their second game. It'll be
Okay.
our first game in the stadium.
Oh.
Their first game will be against the South Dakota State.
No, I don't wear purple.
Which I'm going to be
That's
honest
against
with
my
you.
religion.
I'm going to be honest with you. SDSU versus Northwestern, week 1 of the season at home, grand opening, trap game.
Hey.
Such a trap
Already
game.
taking
I know.
SDSU 3 years in advance.
Well,
I think I would take SDSU
so-
plus 10.5. That's what the line's going to be.
And I know you guys don't follow their recruiting. He's an excellent recruiter. Dan Jackson is killing it at South Dakota State. I mean, they're roster building, and they won't be preseason number 1 in the FCS. They'll be in the top 5. They might be like 3rd.
But they're very lucky
for the
to have him.
future. Like, he is an excellent recruiter. They're building like their next year's class the following year, and he's getting some dudes that I'd be like, oh, that guy could go, and yet they're coming to Brookings. Now, the problem is you have to live in Brookings, but the advantage is you get to play for Dan Jackson.
Now that you said that, I'm 10 times more nervous about South Dakota State week 1 against Northwestern. But I think, though, seeing what these FCS teams will do in the future in terms of their recruiting and their records and just how they stay intact will be fascinating. Will be fascinating to see.
So Colorado wants to play Nebraska, but I don't know if Nebraska wants to play Colorado. Fans are a little bit mixed on what you would like to do. We got an email from Kyle that we'll read when we come back a little bit later. Mike Schaefer will join us. He's vacationed in Colorado before. Matt Verzal has played in Colorado before.
I've run in Colorado.
There's
before.
many Coloradoans that vacation in Nebraska.
No, but I think Omaha is a great
We have a nice zoo.
a great 3-4 day vacation.
Ooh.
I do think it is. I think it's a good.
Oh no, I'm
stop.
saying I don't know that I'd come to vacation in Omaha for 4 days. Would I find enough stuff to do that was not
Said 3 to
involving
4.
in the
3 to
state
4.
fair?
Zoo,
4.
Westroads,
I can do
the
a
zone.
weekend. I can do a weekend.
Okay, you
Yeah.
can do a weekend. Weekend's cool.
Much different visiting living here. I'd rather live here
Oh
than
my
visit
God,
here.
I love living.
That seemed like it was planted.
I do. I do love.
We're
living
back with
here.
more of Gary and Matt
I
after
do.
this. All right, we finish up the hour. I saw they had the torch lighting ceremony last night for the Cornhusker State games.
Yes.
Back in the day when Tom Ash was in charge, knew Tom and Dave, and it's been a great organization that is still around. Featured, is it this weekend or is it early next week on SportsCenter? They're 50 states in 50 days. They're going to highlight the Cornhusker State games.
I believe it's right after the All-Star game.
They had their torch ceremony last night. It's no longer at Seacrest Field, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's in front of PBA, right?
Yeah, that's where they had it. So do they have an opening ceremonies anymore?
So I don't know if they have opening ceremonies, but when I covered it 2 years ago, they did the torch lighting ceremony in front of PBA. And if I'm not mistaken,
they used to have like a cool night at Seacrest.
I think that might have been 2023. It was Jess Gardner, who was the track and field athlete. She lit the flame. I think that might have been the first or second year they had moved from Seacrest. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it was.
So they did it last night, and Danny Busboom Kelly, who just recently had a child, lit the torch. I think the Cornhusker State games are bigger in Lincoln than in Omaha. Like, it doesn't get a lot of run in Omaha.
No, it doesn't.
It's a great event if you've ever participated in it. But it just seems like a bigger deal in Lincoln than it is in Omaha.
We did some coverage of like the different events for the Cornhusker State games, but it definitely wasn't a like, hey, we got to go and we got to go here and we got to do this. But it definitely was something. I mean, it is a big deal over there. I mean, you know that it's going on. Real quick, I was looking up 50 states, 50 days for SportsCenter. There's this random guy who's raising $5 million and he's going to 50 states in 50 days. I think he's like a TikToker. This guy's like, this guy's doing incredible like philanthropic work, and I just kind of fell into it. I have no idea who this human is, but he's raised $4 million by just going from state to state for St. Jude.
By the way, if you're wondering why Colorado wants Nebraska to come to Lincoln, the 23 home opener that Colorado and Nebraska played, according to the Boulder Chamber of Commerce, generated $17 million for Nebraska, Colorado playing in Boulder. Kyle finishes the hour in the Equitable Bank inbox. I live in Denver, and I'm good on playing Colorado every year. They don't want us there. They need money and exposure. The Big 12 is almost done. I'd rather play the SEC every year once. If Colorado makes a CFP, then we can see them there. Thank you, Kyle. Halftime. Back with more of Gary and Matt after this. Whoa. This just announced, or at least just popped into my inbox from PR people. Comic-Con Nebraska is going to be at the CHI in August.
Okay.
Not the Comic-Con that I think is in San Diego every year that is monstrous.
Yes. San Diego Comic-Con.
The
is
big convention
considered
center.
the big Comic-Con. That's where they end up like releasing a lot of like big movies and stuff like that, and superheroes and whatnot. And then everybody knows about the furry convention in Seattle. That's the big one. That's the other big convention.
I did not know that till I worked here.
That's well,
That's
About
what
the
I learned about
furries
it.
or that it's in Seattle?
Both.
yeah. Well, I mean, the Seattle Seahawks are genius, and they make sure that they book the whatever away opponent is playing that week in the same hotel as all of the furry convention people.
Smart.
Really?
Yeah, this is something that I think Les Snead, he's the GM of the Rams, right?
Somewhere Chuck Knox smiles.
He talked about how Seattle has booked the Rams in the hotel for Furry Comic-Con multiple times.
That sounds like a Bishop rant waiting to happen.
Sounds like a Pete Carroll move if I've ever heard of one.
Looking at the furry convention calendar.
Be a good giveaway for us. Send a couple people.
I will, by the way.
Go?
Yeah, to Nebraska Comic-Con.
I thought you meant the furries.
No, no, I won't be. But
Seems like there's a lot of regional furry cons.
Should be. It's tough to get to Seattle sometimes.
The Worldwide Fur Camp in 2025 will be in Belafonte, Ohio.
Lovely. this
furry
time of the year.
camp,
Yes, the Midwest Fur Fest will be in December in Rosemont.
Tio,
Nice. There you go.
Tio. I got 2 left.
We have one Tio left.
Time
He's
out.
doing great.
Furry camp. Like, what are they doing? What are they hitting the sled? Are they doing the tire drill? What are they making
The
sure they're not
Oklahoma
fumbling the
drill.
football? I mean, are they practicing the X Factor? What camp do you need? I
You
mean,
learn how to be a furry?
What is
You put on a presentation for the parents at the last day, like most summer camps.
we want to give out our awards? Most improved
Get the Kona Ice truck to
leadership
show up.
award. This furry really, their bark was loud.
You think people travel? So there is a
gotta
North
be.
American furry convention. They travel around the country?
Got to be. They have to.
It doesn't look like I'm looking here. I don't see Seattle. Oh, there will be a furry event here in Omaha
All
at the
right.
Comfort Inn and Suites.
content.
Heartland
Yes.
Heartland Halloween is coming up in
Oh.
October.
Oh, it's a Halloween furry
That has
convention?
after hours written all over.
Yeah.
it.
So what you dress up as a furry that's dressed up as like another costume? So I could dress up as a furry and then have a Brian Urlacher jersey on, and could be like, this
Or a
is like
Husker
when you put a
jersey?
Bears jersey
Yeah.
on your dog.
Sean reminds me of one of the great stories involving Dave Van Horn. We went to play at Oklahoma State.
That's what I thought,
We
too.
pull up outside of the hotel in Stillwater, and we were a little bit delayed in getting our rooms and being able to check in
Okay.
because they were having a furry convention, of all places, Stillwater, Oklahoma. And they had taken up some of the rooms. And also Mike Anderson, who was the guy during that time period that would go and get off the bus and go check in the team at the hotel, he was alerted that there would be some inconvenience because there were people dressed in costume that were at the hotel. And he came back and he told Dave Van Horn, and Dave Van Horn says, "What the F is a furry?"
He walks back.
That's
to
an
the bus.
honest question.
Guys,
I'd have said
guys,
the same
it's bad.
thing.
We got a couple untrained chihuahuas in there.
It was they were
Really
everywhere.
barking.
They were very nice people, but kind of interesting. They're at the Holiday Inn in Stillwater,
Okay.
Oklahoma.
In there.
By the way, Nebraska won 2 of 3 that weekend.
My next question.
So them trying to get in our head with the furries in Stillwater
so-
did not happen.
You want to go to Camp Feral, which is
Will?
a furry camp held in Ontario, Canada, from August 21st to August 25th. They've been around since 1998, providing great furry fun.
Looks like the National Furry Convention actually is in Pittsburgh every year.
I would love to get a description of what. Oh my God,
That's
they are,
McAfee written all
they
over.
are canoeing, but they're all in their furry costumes. So you can go swimming, canoeing, windsurfing, archery, climbing tower, low rope courses, high rope courses, nature hikes.
It's a big deal to be a furry.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
A reality show.
Camp Feral sounds like a great time. Oh my God! Look,
You want
there
to
is
go
this,
to Camp
look at this
Feral?
guy's playing dodgeball.
You wanna
He's
get
in his furry
paid to go to Camp Feral?
I'm basically going to a mascot convention, right?
Oh, I should go to Nebraska Comic-Con dressed up as Bango the Buck.
Please. I'll
or
go
Benny
with
the
you.
Bull. That'd be great.
I've never been to one of these. I'd go
I
with
will
you.
I
go
don't.
to
I don't think the
Nebraska
Comic-Con people put up with the furries. I don't think you can have crossover.
I don't know.
I think I'd be upset if I was at Comic-Con.
You're stealing their thunder.
This isn't your
And all of a sudden,
territory.
if a furry shows up, I'd have a throwdown. I mean, I'd be on Omaha Scanner like that.
I will. So at Comic-Con, do they have the card trading tables where you can trade cards and stuff like that? Like whether it be sport
Dungeons and
cards
Dragons
or-
cards?
Yeah, why
Magic the
not? Or
Gathering?
like
Probably.
Pokemon.
Probably.
I'm gonna.
I've never been to a Comic-Con.
I will
but
go to.
probably.
You want to go together?
No.
All
It'd be
right.
fun.
Scratch the
We'd
idea
have
of
a
taking the
great
show
time.
live.
I'll get us Jedi robes. You can be Obi-Wan. I can
Good.
be Anakin.
I'm good.
We can go together.
I think I have a fantasy football draft that weekend.
I'll get us lightsabers. What if I buy you a lightsaber? We go together to Comic-Con.
I mean, a lightsaber,
If you want to buy me a
Gary.
lightsaber and it's an original lightsaber that was
Yeah.
used in the filming of Star Wars, I would be all for it.
I unfortunately do not have that money because that's
Okay.
hundreds of
I'm
thousands
going to have
of
to
dollars.
pass then on going to Comic-Con.
What if I got you a cool lightsaber? Is there anything that we could dress up as?
I'm not going to Comic-Con. I'm not going to a furry convention.
I'm not asking you to go to that.
I think the people that do that are very passionate and great for them. It's just not my cup of tea.
Ditto. But I will be going to Comic-Con. I
Okay,
will
that's
report.
great.
I will report.
That's great. Our old producer Shane used to go to when it was in the Mid-American Center. He said it was great. And they would have celebrities there, and it was fantastic.
1620 the comic.
And in the mornings, he's a co-host with Gary, who last night watched the Summer League, which the Summer League last night, the Bronny versus Cooper game, seemed like it had more hype and attention than the NBA finals, which good on the NBA because that's become their NFL draft. They've got the marketing tool and they got the Bronny could have hit a shot at the end of the game with Mark Jones hollering LeBron James Jr. But it did feel that way.
It felt like a regular season game that was they were trying to win. They were announcing
you
it.
had to
like,
make
with
it that
such
way because
intensity.
people sitting courtside were paying $3,500. You have too much money if you are paying $3,500 to go to an NBA Summer League game. It's not even an exhibition
But
game.
if you want to see the future of your franchise, Gary, there's no price.
You know what? They're
going
to be playing exhibition games in October.
You want to be able to say, man, I saw Dalton Connect in Vegas, man. He looked very mid.
You know what? It'd be cool if I saw Dalton Connect walking the streets of Vegas. I don't need to pay $3,500 to go play a game with guys that will never, ever be playing in the NBA.
You don't think that was a landmark event for some Mavericks fans? Seriously, you don't think there's some are going to be like, I was at Cooper Flag's first Summer League
Thank
game?
God the Wimbledon's on ESPN this morning because I can't imagine what First Take and Get Up, they would lead with like these hot takes on Cooper Flag. Ooh, 5 of 21 shooting. I bet he doesn't make it in the NBA. Shut your face.
Is the transition too much for Cooper Flag? What steps has Bronny shown?
Now, they will also ignore something that happened in that game last night. How about Ryan Nembhard?
Yes.
Ryan Nembhard, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. The former Creighton Blue Jay, former Gonzaga Zag, had a big night last night and looked really, really good.
We did kind of forget about him when we were talking about the local flavor that would be playing in the Summer League. I recognized that when I saw him out on the court.
So you're saying once a Blue Jay, always a Blue Jay does not apply here?
No, I think it does apply here, but I failed to apply it when we were going through the Summer League rosters, which was my responsibility to do.
He's always an interesting I liked watching him play, and I think he was a guard that was built for the Big East because he was a physical guard. His outside shot was always questionable. So you kind of got, when you added Ashworth, a little bit of Nembhard and the opposite of Nembhard when it comes to shooting from the outside. But it came up during Ashworth's first year because the physicality, like Nembhard could take a beating in the Big East because he was a physical guard and he could get to the rim and he would get over bigger guys going to the rim. Where Ashworth would try, but that was not his staple. Is, what if you're playing Ziegler from Tennessee in the Sweet 16, who Ashworth played pretty well in that loss to Tennessee. I mean, he was not the reason they lost the game. But Ziegler beat up, Creighton's ball handlers. Nembhard really never got beat up. And I don't know the dynamics of how it all went down, that he ended up at Gonzaga. I know, there was discussion with his brother. And, I don't know if Creighton was like, you know what? Hey, we're good. This is a good opportunity for you. But you can't you can't not go, well, I wonder if he would have stayed, what he would have been like. And he probably would have been exactly like he was last night. I've always enjoyed watching him play.
I think he would have taken
good start for him, and he'll make that. He'll find a way onto that roster.
What Jemiah Neal, the role that he had last year, is essentially kind of the role that Nembhard would have had. Probably even more elevated. I don't know if Pop.
Well, you wouldn't have had Ashworth.
Yeah,
Ashworth would have never come to.
From Utah State. Yeah. That's a good point. But I think with Nembhard, Bill Simmons loves him. Bill Simmons is absolutely in love with him and is so pissed that he's on the Lakers that I just take it as if Bill Simmons is really, really mad about this guy being on the Lakers, then it was probably a good pickup. He looked really good yesterday. And I was honestly, like, I know we're not trying to like read too much into the summer league. Mm-hmm. I was kind of impressed with the Lakers yesterday and just how like athletic they looked and how fast they played. And it looks like they had some really good outside shooting. Granted, will like 80% of those guys never put on an actual Lakers uniform and play at the Crypto.com arena? No. But I was just pretty impressed. Now, do you know who I was impressed with yesterday? The Oklahoma City Thunder, baby. The dynamic duo that you never thought you needed in your life. Chris Youngblood, the former Kennesaw State transfer, the former Crimson Tide. And who's his new running mate? Who's his new partner? Getting him the rebounds, getting him the balls, getting him the skills. But Brooksy Barnhizer. How about that? How about OKC,
I should have known. I was like, where's this going?
2 steals in the draft.
I got you.
Brooksy and Youngblood together. I mean, OKC, they can't miss, man. They cannot miss. You see, he had 7 rebounds yesterday, had a couple of assists, had a couple of
Remember
steals.
when they asked the question, how will Cooper Flagg's debut be handled? 0 points in the second half. He had a throwdown. He had a block. He looks... Cooper Flagg's going to be good.
Good thing Dak is healthy because that's all they're talking about down there.
But remember, like, I watch Summer League to be entertained. I like basketball. Right. No sweeping takeaways.
Nobody get hurt.
Because it's odd to play because you could make the case that Cooper Flagg was playing with better players at Duke than he was last night. And the flow of the game in the Summer League is a little bit different because there's some bad guys that are out there. And there's also some guys that are like, realistically, in the NBA, they're going to be feeding Cooper Flagg, and they're like, go get yours.
Yeah.
In the Summer League, there's guys that are like, I got to get mine because I got to get a spot on that roster. So it's always like, sometimes there's really quirky games, the way it flows, and it's not the best basketball.
There was a guy on LA.
But I said, I was going to be patient. I was going to be like, you know what? I just enjoy it. You want to go there, don't you? You want to give these, like, okay.
I want to give Brooksy. I want to do it for Brooksy. Because who's standing? I want to tell you right now, who in America, all right, in just media, is standing on the hill for Brooks Barnhizer and talking about
I'm going to say
and saying his name and saying he looked good yesterday in the Summer League. But they're not even doing it. They don't have shows in Evanston, but they wouldn't even be doing it in Evanston. They're not going to say anything in where he was playing basketball.
Sports animals on football mode now.
I have to be the torchbearer. I have to be the Danny Busboom Kelly for Brooks Barnhizer. That's what I have to be. Because she carried the torch for the Husker State games. You see, I was putting some local flavor. I was tying that in there.
I think Cooper Flagg
gonna be okay.
I think he's gonna be fine.
Okay, yeah.
I think he's gonna be fine in the NBA.
What a hot take, burning take.
I'm trying to get away from your torch.
I have the torch for Brooks Barnhizer, and now that Brooks Barnhizer and Chris Youngblood, who I really, really liked, now they're both together on the team. Now I'm carrying both of their torches. Youngblood played really well yesterday. I don't know if he's gonna crack the roster. It's funny. Please do not watch any games in Mesa next spring until the end of spring training, please. I started talking to you about spring training one time, and you're like, Matt, come on. Like, they're not out there trying to get stats. Because I was really hammered in. I go, who's not having a good spring? And you've been in pro ball for a very long time. You're like, Matt, come on. This is different, though. This is a little bit different. Summer League's a little bit different. I don't think there's many guys. Well, they do. They play real exhibition games with real NBA guys. Like, they're not tooling. I don't know how many of those guys are like tooling around in Summer League. Like, because they're trying to like get their livelihoods. Where you have guys, like you explained in the MLB, they're tooling. Summer League is a good tease, but they do play exhibition games. It's exhibition, yeah. When they get to, which I'm kind of surprised we haven't had any announcement of a local exhibition game in the NBA. Of like coming to a would come here to Omaha?
Yeah, we've had
or city of a million people.
We've had at PBA and the.
No, I know that we've had it here, but you were saying this year that they might be coming this year.
Today,
no,
it'd be great.
I don't think they're going to come today.
It was funny, by the way.
Good try.
2 weeks ago, that I was making fun of you for watching Summer League and wanting to go out to Summer League, and now the turns have tabled, and I am now talking.
No, I
about
watched Summer League. You want so bad to give me a get up, just hot take.
No, I don't have a hot take. Other than Bronny looked really good yesterday. He looked poised.
Take a break a little bit later. Mike Schaefer stops by. Big proponent of 7-on-7 football with high school kids, and also Vegas League basketball.
I don't think he is. I think you're lying.
We'll ask him. He'll join us at 9 on 1620 The Zone. Remember Jacoby, who, along with his father Matt, just stopped in studio here. Jacoby is 13. He is built like a brick.
I barely recognize him
He's a
anymore.
Our
friend.
Matt used to bring his son to remotes, and he was like 6, 7 years old, 5, 6 or 7 years old, and he was tiny. But now he's 13, and he's playing rugby. He's going to play football and wrestle at North, we hope. That boy's growing up.
He plays rugby, and he kind of gave me an intimidating look, and I wasn't a big fan. That's how you build strength, right? There's a difference between the weightlifting strength and all that and the rugby strength. That's where he told me he was 13. I was like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. That's a little intimidating when you look at a guy who's like 10 years younger than you, and you know that in about 4 years, they probably could whoop your butt. It's kind of where we're at right now. But they brought us donuts and coffee because they're the best. So shout out them.
All right. A little bit later, Mike Schaefer is going to join the show. We were talking about last night, the Cornhusker State games. They announced yesterday the alumni match. I don't know that anyone will ever eclipse Jordan Larson as the GOAT of Nebraska volleyball. So her career she doesn't want to give it up, but she knows she's getting towards the end. She has to figure out what she wants to do. So she's still playing, which is amazing because I think she'll be 39 this next volleyball season. And there are moments where she still plays at a pretty good high level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, she got announced and she was the first name. Because it's cool, like Allie is playing, Lindsey Krause. I mean, it's a good collection of players that are going to play in their alumni match, and it'll be a big deal, and of course it'll sell out. But Jordan Larson is always the first mention. There is nobody that's going to eclipse her, right? As the GOAT of Nebraska volleyball in terms of a player.
It'd be so hard. I mean, the bar.
Nobody will ever have a nickname like that.
I think I'll go never say never, but it's a testament to how much she's accomplished, not only within the Nebraska volleyball program, but outside of the Nebraska volleyball program too, with the Olympics, that I think it's a safe bet probably that people won't have her national college success and her Olympic success. But Nebraska volleyball has consistently been able to get the best players at every single year when it comes to recruiting. Mm-hmm. And even now that John Cook is gone, this recruiting class that Danny Busboom Kelly has been able to put together still is incredibly impressive. And so I just feel like if Nebraska keeps getting the top talent, I'm never going to say, no, that can never happen. They can never have another GOAT.
I'm going to say that Jordan Larson, you can retire that trophy, is the greatest of all time when it comes to Nebraska volleyball, period.
Do you think that Harper Murray or Andy Jackson could have a shot? Because Lexi Rodriguez plays a position where, I don't know, it's not like when you get to Olympic volleyball, at least I've been told it's not as important as, being an outside hitter or being a middle. And so it's harder for her to build that legacy compared to Jordan Larson. I don't know if they win 2 titles in the next 2 years, and one of them is like the National Player of the Year, but that's so hard to do, I mean, that's what the bar is. I mean, that's
the 3 that you mentioned are exceptional at their sport.
Yeah.
But Jordan Larson being from here, then doing it here, and then going and doing it over there, and then being still involved with Nebraska volleyball, I think sets her apart. I think this discussion is retired. When she retires, you retire the discussion. She is the GOAT. She's the greatest of all time. No one will ever eclipse her when it comes to Nebraska volleyball. And even this, so then this is why I brought it up, because her name is the first that is mentioned on any release yesterday. If you've ever seen, and there's a lot of young girls in this state that were not born when she was playing at Nebraska. Mm-hmm. So they have no idea of how incredible she was when she was playing for Nebraska. But yet you see the reaction to her, whether she's putting on a camp or she's signing autographs. Like if you go to a match and beforehand or afterwards and Nebraska is signing, the amount of people that come up, not the adults, because the adults know her. And I mean, you see people that are in awe of her when it comes to Nebraska volleyball. But the young girls that have been taught about Jordan Larson.
Well,
and that's what I was like, That dawned on me not too long ago, and I'm like, whoa, that just reiterates she is the GOAT of all time, period, stop, of Nebraska volleyball.
Isn't that the mark, though, of a GOAT, that 17 years, because it's been 17 years since she's been at Nebraska, that we are still talking about her, and we are still talking about the impact that she had on that volleyball program. But more so, there are very few players, like you kind of bring it up, that when you were born when I was born, right? And I was learning about the Cubs and I was learning about the Bears and when I was learning, years later about the Huskers, there are certain names that you immediately bring up. You got to know about Ernie Banks. You got to know about Billy Williams. You got to know about Mike Ditka. You got to know about Mike Rozier. When you talk about the history of Nebraska volleyball, if I'm teaching somebody about the history, I go, you got to know Terry Pettit. You got to know John Cook. And then you have to know Jordan Larson. And for her to have been as high up on that list and only play for 4 years, right? She was only here from like she had a playing career. Cook and Pettit have, coached for, decades, right? So for her to be that first player, I think it's just, like you said, the mark of, she is the GOAT. Will there ever, I don't know if I'm ready to ever close out anything and say there will never be anybody as good as her ever, but the bar is so astronomically high, especially too because she has still been around that college and that program since she's left. She's still always been, in the spotlight, if you will.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll have more on the NBA Summer League.
I'm okay with it. I was watching the Philadelphia San Antonio game yesterday.
We win.
I did hang around to watch that.
I hung around. I turned it off after 20 minutes.
I like watching the Summer League, but I don't have a take on Cooper Flagg.
Well,
or
I'm
Bronny James.
I'm pissed.
Just nobody get hurt.
Keisei Tominaga didn't get 1 minute yesterday for the Indiana Pacers.
Wasn't dressed, right?
He was just a DNP. That's just what I saw in the box score. But I did see that Stephen Ashworth had 6 points.
Hit a three right away.
Yeah. Then he got fouled, hit 3 free throws.
Think he'll make the team?
No.
I mean, they have a spot open. Halliburton's out next year.
No, he won't make it.
It's going to be a daily thing. Your Vegas Summer League hot take.
Is this like my Nick Grimm in college baseball? But
I'll get an open cut.
In Summer
Good
League?
idea, Gary.
You have a Vegas Summer League hot take.
Boots on the ground from Vegas, or just in Omaha watching
If
ESPN
you thought
Plus.
Oklahoma City was going to go away, you should have seen them yesterday. They certainly did not go away against Brooklyn.
They got Youngblood
Summer
and
League.
Kornheiser. They got two of just the grittiest, lengthiest college basketball players that were out there last year.
I do give them credit. It was kind of funny because they continued the post-game towel interview.
Oh, okay.
With their
Oh,
teammates.
yeah, surrounding.
Yeah.
So, by the way, have you seen the YouTube comment from 4 months ago? There was on a Brooks Barnheiser video. There's a YouTube comment. It's a Brooks Barnheiser highlight video. And a comment, the top comment was, this guy is going to get drafted number 44 overall to Oklahoma City and be a stud. I think that was Sam Presti's burner.
Man, you've had some takes today.
I'm just telling you what YouTube. Somebody's got to carry the Brooks Barnheiser torch.
Do you remember
John Cherna? Yeah.
Do you remember that game in February? What happened in that game in Evanston?
The team that I went to school outside. that I graduated from, that I'm an alumni for, ended up winning. And by the way, who predicted that comeback, by the way?
I do actually remember that.
This guy.
Because you reminded us.
What a weird winter it was at PBA for the fighting Fred Hoibergs. Middle of February, you're down 20 at Northwestern. Your coach loses at halftime. And the next thing you know, you win 68-64.
You just had to break a clipboard. That was the key the entire time. You just break a clipboard.
And there wasn't too long afterwards, you go to State College.
And then you lose that game. And then you lose to Minnesota on a heartbreaker too, right back at home. And then you still, despite all of that, have a shot to go to the NCAA tournament. You have Iowa, who's bad, who everybody knows that Fran McCaffrey's done. They're on your home court. It's senior night. And you still lose.
Someday they will write a book about the 24-25 Nebraska basketball season.
It would not sell.
Remember that Mick Cronin presser? After they got beat in Lincoln?
Do you remember when I called Mick Cronin broken Mick Cronin, and then he rattled off 7 wins in a row and had a good run in the tournament? Oops.
Oops.
We're back with more after this. How dare them Minnesotans do what they did yesterday to us Nebraskans?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Twins.
No. The Twins were great to us.
I was like, they understood the assignment.
By the way, Brandon, thank you. He was at the Cubs Twins game at Target Field yesterday when Pete Crow Armstrong went 3 for 4, had 2 home runs. Cubs won 8-1. Colin Ray, the stopper, pitched another quality start. Thanks for the pictures.
They needed to win.
Chris Flexen tonight. Versus Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, it's going to be a bullpen game.
I love Carlos Rodon. I love him to death. I wish nothing but success for him because I love that he was with the White Sox for that long and didn't do a damn thing, and then turned into the player everybody thought he would be somewhere else. Thank you, Carlos. Oh, Lucas Giolito too, by the way. Apparently on the Cubs' radar. That'd be fun.
It might cost a little bit.
I'd be okay with it. I would have to probably go back and delete a lot of tweets about how bad he is.
Very relatable.
Yeah, I think
I
really think if you were to do a
That's why I
deep
keep mine
dive on my
private.
Twitter to find bad tweets, it would just be a lot of wow, this guy really disliked the 2017 Chicago White Sox. That would really be it. Other than that, I think I'm clean. That and a bunch of Northwestern football tweets nobody gave a damn about, and Nebraska press conference tweets nobody gave a damn about.
We have a decision to make on Friday night, October 17th.
Okay.
There is, and they're not very far from each other. They're both accessible by the train. At one location, you will have a college football game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
You will
I
have,
know one.
on a Friday night, the 17th of October, Nebraska will be playing a game against Minnesota.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
Now, about, let's see, if you get on outside of Huntington Bank, let's see, it goes around the corner. There's a stop, another stop. The fourth or fifth stop, you will end up at US Bank Stadium.
Oh.
On the same night, Sir Paul will be in concert at US Bank Stadium.
I know where you're going here.
I mean, people are going to have to make a decision
McCartney,
here.
not Anka.
It's already going to be so. This is the blessing of the Nebraska
Wait,
football
Paul, I thought he meant Chris Paul when he said Sir Paul.
Oh, I just said Jake
at
Paul.
US Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Performing
performing on
one
his
night
own?
only.
Bad joke.
Covering all the hits.
So Paul McCartney just announced a tour yesterday. I know Nebraska stop, right? Kansas City,
We got Ringo.
Minneapolis. Yeah,
We did.
Well,
We got Ringo,
hey,
who just
put-
had a birthday last week.
Hang the banner.
hey, put some respect on Omaha. All right. We don't need the tier 2 Beatle. We want
Tier 2 is being nice. That is being
A smaller donation
complimentary
per ticket.
to Ringo. Okay, he's tier 3. Okay, and there's only 3 tiers.
I keep him in tier 2.
There's how many tiers of Beatles you can have? There's only 4 of them.
You have 1 and 2.
No, there's 3
2 and
tiers,
1 and
and
2 in the
Ringo's
other.
on tier 3. Continuing on.
What would be in your along with Sir Paul Lennon,
Yeah.
right? In
Yes.
tier 1.
Well, and then
Then who's in 2?
tier 2,
Ringo.
Yeah.
Ringo.
Yeah.
Aren't we missing a Beatle?
Yes, George.
George. So George would be tier 2.
I got his mind
didn't
set
have
on
a-
you.
You don't have a tier 3.
Tier
wouldn't-
3 is Ringo. It goes John and Paul, then George, then Ringo.
Yoko Ono was tier 3.
I'm digging myself a hole here. I'm
We
not
know.
the Beatles expert. This is just Ringo was always Ringo. He was always the joke in all the comedies.
Listen to
growing
our
up.
first segment
There-
about the
how many
McRib.
how many Sir Paul McCartney jokes were there in comedy movies? Not a lot, but there were plenty of Ringo jokes.
Or?
A couple comedy movies with a Ringo joke.
Okay.
Take my word for it.
But yes, Sir Paul, October 17th.
No. Think about this.
You could row the boat over.
The first weekend in the first weekend of the season, 48 days away, there is going to be a plethora of people that will go to Arrowhead. So you have Nebraska, Cincinnati on a Thursday night. There are a plethora of people that are going to make it a holiday weekend in Kansas City because the next night, and the Royals are smart. I believe they have dubbed that the Husker Night at the K.
Yes.
So the Tigers and the Royals play beginning a 3-game series on that Friday night. That game's going to be packed with nothing but Nebraska fans because by then, the NFL season will be here, and the Royals probably will still be double-figure games behind the Tigers. They still might be in the race for the wild card.
They'll still be
Big
playing
series
games.
this weekend with the Mets down at the K. So you have that. So you get that. The Chiefs don't open the season yet, so you can come home, but you're going to get some baseball. Well,
that's a good weekend.
For those of us that will be there on that Friday night and we'll go to the football game instead of Sir Paul, then if you stick around, Eagles-Vikings is at noon on that Sunday.
Hell yes.
That sounds incredible.
Skull.
It sounds.
You get your Saturday off in the Twin Cities. It's going to be, the weather will still be nice. It'll be one of those rare games that the weather should be good.
Mm-hmm. A little chilly.
The weather, the opener 2 years ago, Matt Rule's first game, start the season, weather was great.
So
there have been some bad weather games up in the Twin Cities, but not as many as you would think. Like Nebraska, I think has lucked out in terms of the weather up there.
Blair Walsh
outside of let's play at night Hoodiegate game, which I do think was the middle of October.
Yeah.
Okay. So this game is the middle of October, but I'm confident the weather will be nice.
4 days on July 15th, which funny enough is a day where a lot of America gets paid, is when the Sir Paul. Don't most people get paid on the 15th and the 30th?
No, not everybody.
It varies by where you work. Well, and also your profession.
I know some people do the every other Friday night type deal too now too. That's the other one.
Well, there's also, if some states, I don't know if it's Nebraska, but I know I have a friend who is a Division I head coach, and she gets paid because of the state where she's employed only once a month.
Okay. Big check.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to budget.
I couldn't do that. I could not do that.
Does the state, if you're a state employee in Nebraska, do you get paid once a month?
Oh, I can ask.
But in this particular state where she's a head swimming coach, she gets paid just once a month.
If I got
also had to do with her contract because there was a state law that you couldn't do multi-year contracts. You had to do a year by year.
Oh, that's awful.
And they got it changed for coaches because they have a football coach who demands a large salary and
he's good.
Has been very successful.
By the way, if there is one profession in which you don't want to be on a year-to-year contract basis, it probably would be.
I think it used to be also in South Dakota that South Dakota you could only offer if you were a state employee, which you would be like if you were at South Dakota or South Dakota State, you could only have a 1-year deal, and sometimes it would turn coaches away. And then I think they changed that rule in South Dakota as well.
Why would
you're right. You're right. If you were a head coach, even though technically you're not on a year-to-year, but that's the only way they can do it legally.
Right.
You would be like, whoa, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
So my friend who works for the state of Nebraska says he gets paid bi-weekly.
Okay. Good morning,
He
Governor
gets paid but this is interesting. He doesn't get paid on like the 15th or the 30th. He gets paid every other Wednesday. There you go.
He is the governor.
Something new every
whatever
day.
you want.
But in 4 days, Paul McCartney, what do you think those tickets are going to cost?
Couple bucks.
Is this it? Is this the last tour?
I mean,
they say that every year.
So that's the thing with these
saw his
old
last tour
artists,
in
and it's
93.
genius. It's genius when you get to a certain age where you can name your tour something very innocuous, very like, I might not come back, I may not come back, but you very easily could come back. But then name it something innocuous again, where everybody wouldn't know, like whether or not you're going to come back. So it's a great ploy. I don't think it will be. I think Paul's got plenty left in the tank.
But this is like a big time tour.
This is
instead of doing like a small residency in Vegas or something like that.
He's going. So he will be in Allegiant Stadium. Coors Field, U.S. Bank Stadium, the Smoothie King Center, State Farm Arena twice. He's got 2 shows in State Farm Arena, Nationwide Arena, Key Bank Center. He's going to be at the UC in November twice for 2 nights. Then he's going to go to Canada for a couple of events. He only has 18 shows though.
Well, it's not like he is, 1960s version of Paul
I know.
McCartney.
I'm not expecting him to like do 55 shows, but 18 seems a little,
3 Red Bulls
still
going to
there. Still going to put minimum 20K in buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But going to view U.S. Bank on a Friday night is kind of interesting. Like I wonder how many. So Nebraska, Minnesota will be close to 50K.
Could that work in Nebraska's favor? Most of the fans at the Paul McCartney concert.
Don't even start. Remember the whole chatter about the crowd. Nebraska wasn't ready for the crowd.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Just leave that one
alone. Like playing at the old Met.
I would think probably at U.S. Bank, which, by the way, is a bad place for a concert. The acoustics for a concert in there are not very good.
That's what I heard.
Really?
I saw Chesney in there.
Okay.
But for football, it's different. Football, it's great.
So
I bet he puts 35 in there.
Why isn't this on here?
But you got a choice. If you're like, what happens if you're a huge Beatles fan, and the next thing you know, you're already going to the Twin Cities, and you're like, oh my God, how?
Wait, didn't you say the games don't matter till November? I think that makes a decision easy for you.
There you go.
That's true.
Good boy, Jimmy.
You already know what's going to happen.
Here's the thing.
But here's also the thing. I will not go see Sir Paul.
Well,
I'm not a.
You'll go see Sir Matt instead.
Beatles are okay, yeah, but I'm not. If I had a choice,
but
am I going to see the Gopher on the scoreboard, or am I going to see Sir Paul?
Can I play devil's advocate here?
I'm going to see the Gopher on the scoreboard, which is in the video game too.
How often are you going to be able to see Sir Paul McCartney?
Many times. We just
I watched a great interview he had on Stern recently. So I've seen him.
How often are you going to be able to see Nebraska lose a disappointing game on the road against Minnesota?
Many times.
Many times. So I feel like if we're weighing out how often am I able to see one of these events, I think you're less often to see Sir Paul McCartney than you are Nebraska football.
Did you just call your shot?
I know. Nebraska that's what I'm putting together here.
Beat by Minnesota again?
I did not call my shot. I'm not going to call my shot.
Matt calls an L.
In terms. Matt calls an L. That's probably a good podcast title. What is... So this, who do they play?
Paul McCartney it is.
So tickets, I'm just trying to do the math here in terms of what tickets will cost you if you want to do the Minnesota and the Minnesota-Nebraska game and then the Vikings Eagles game. So tickets for less for Nebraska versus Minnesota, the cheapest in the upper level 205 is $129. If you want to be in the lower bowl, you'll have to pay $250 a ticket. Right now, the cheapest ticket to get into the Minnesota Vikings game is $173.
Damn, it's changed.
They are not even close to being sold out for that game, though. That is crazy how much available seating is for an Eagles-Vikings game. And the tickets are wild. What do you think?
All our media that are Vikings fans.
What do you think, like
a
50-yard line ticket in the lower bowl for a Vikings game cost?
You're on a secondary market?
I'm on the Minnesota Vikings website.
Ooh.
I'm on their official website. Looking at tickets. They direct you to Ticketmaster.
Okay.
So,
well, then there's the answer: $1 billion.
$330.
If you want to sit 50-yard line,
charge.
section V8, the lower bowl, it's $1,400.
Oh. Well then.
Is that one of the field suites?
Okay. Could be. No, even if you go on the other side of the field, it's still over $1,000. Yeah, no. I mean, so the one I was looking at was
I don't think there's a bad seat in that house for football. I think it's a great stadium for football.
So if you were in like
But I also think the old Metrodome, as much crap as it got for baseball, I think the Metrodome was a really good football venue.
I agree. Okay. It was loud.
Can we have this conversation?
But it was like every seat in the old Metrodome for football was a really good seat. I feel the same way about US Bank Stadium, which is much larger.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Hefty Bag. If you know, you know.
I didn't mind the Metrodome but I also like Trop.
Why is there so much club seating in this arena? Why is there so much C1
People
and
like
V1
fancy
and
stuff.
V4 and V5? Like, there's way too much suite seating here. Especially, like, these tickets are way too expensive.
That's why.
I mean, they don't even have, like, it's just like, it goes from, like, all these V's and F's and letters, because then you have your traditional numbers, like 103, 104, 105. Now, those numbers, so that's still $500. If you want to be, like, in 106, you still have to pay $500 a ticket.
What about in the 600 level with the real fans?
So there's 600 level.
But we shouldn't be surprised.
No,
I mean,
but it's still disappointing.
I mean, a college football ticket in Lincoln face value now is $150 for a game.
Oh yeah, NFL's all.
I mean, as much. I'm not saying, hey, you should be able to afford it, but we should be past the point of being shocked by ticket prices.
I guess I'm not shocked. I'm more so just disappointed and a little like
$8 seats are gone.
Well, okay, if you want to sit in section 312, which is the 600 section essentially for US Bank Stadium, and it's right on the 50-yard line, right on the 50-yard line in the 600 section, you have to pay $580. $580 to be in the 600 section.
Take end zone corner.
If you want to be like down, so down the visitor sideline, it's still $200 to do that, and you're all the way up at the top.
Great view.
If you're in like row 2 of the 600 section, it's
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of.
Plenty of tickets
It is
still
a
available.
ridiculous amount of club seating. I know it's the reality. I know it's not going to change. I know I shouldn't be surprised. I still have the right to be slightly upset about it.
So I went to Nebraska's website because they're still selling the 3-game mini plan.
Yeah.
So the Michigan game is sold out, and you can create your own mini plan. They have the tag on the Akron, Houston Christian, and Northwestern game. Not many left.
Okay. So they're almost out of ticket plans.
No. Michigan State, USC, and Iowa do not have that tag on them.
Okay. I'm trying to see premium seating. I'm trying to get to the site you're at. So I haven't seen as much promotion though for the ticket plans recently as we were a couple of weeks ago. So I think they might have, I don't know.
Oh, you're going to see you're going to see a big rollout of Nebraska football promotional stuff in 2 weeks. Coincides with football is back. They're in Vegas.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot more social media tickets, announcements, that kind of stuff.
Can you tell me, is there a way for you to find the cheapest ticket for like that Michigan game that's on that site? Because I'm curious.
Well, the Michigan game sold out, so you can't buy single games. You'd have to go to a secondary market.
Tickets for less Michigan versus Nebraska. I will say my bet for the cheapest ticket for the Nebraska-Michigan game right now in July would be $280 is my guess. It is $190. That's not bad. It's not terrible. Could be, based on what I saw from the Minnesota Vikings, that's actually a bang for your buck. It's $1,000, $1,400 to sit in the regular person 50-yard line seats.
And you thought McDonald's wasn't expensive.
$1,400. Even without suite access.
Well, people sold out the $3,000 courtside seats in Vegas last night to watch a pre-exhibition game.
$4 for a hot dog?
Yeah, at least they're lowering concession prices. The Phoenix Suns are like, yeah, we lowered our concession prices. Well, it cost me an arm and a leg to just get in here, so it better cost like the Maskers.
All right, Mike Schaefer is going to join us next. I think he'll do the double dip that weekend. Nebraska, Minnesota, and then do his beloved Vikings and the Eagles on Sunday. Oh, who doesn't? When the NFL schedule comes out, you don't try and line it up. I don't think the Ravens are home. Yeah.
For when they go to Maryland?
Yeah. So people are going to do the UCLA trip, go see either the Chargers or the Rams.
I'm really hoping we can do the Bears trip together next year. That'll be a great time.
Can't wait. Especially that Northwestern Colorado game.
We're going to go. We're going together. I got the tickets. You don't have to pay for a thing.
All right, we're going. We're going.
We got you. Yeah.
You just have to sleep on my couch or my parents' couch.
And he's staying.
You can sleep on my parents' couch, or you can sleep on the bed that I grew up sleeping on. It's your pick.
All right, Gary's staying in Omaha that weekend. Val as it is.
Nice. You can wake up in the morning and see the Patrick Kane jersey every day.
Okay.
This is Gary and Matt.
Airbnb and Skokie it is. On 1620 The Zone. Whoa. All right, last hour, we kick it off with our favorite Viking fan who's got a choice to make. Do you go to Nebraska, Minnesota, and you go see Sir Paul on the weekend that you'll be at U.S. Bank Stadium to watch the Eagles-Vikings? Maybe. It is Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. Good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
Good. Are you going to do the double dip of football in the Twin Cities in the middle of October and go see Nebraska, Minnesota, and then finish it with a little Viking Eagle?
Yeah, it'd be nicer if it was like the Saturday, Sunday double dip instead of having that open Saturday in there. Not that I can't find things to do in Minneapolis. It's just be an easier sell to those that need to be sold. But it's a possibility. I can't say that I really want to go watch the Eagles.
They're defending Super Bowl champion.
They also won their first Super Bowl in my lifetime in that same building.
Yep.
The week before or 2 weeks before, just demolishing my dreams of 2017. So I don't know. I go back and forth on that. I'm one of these people that if I go to an NFL game, I really want it to be like a Thursday night or a Sunday night or a Monday night, because then I get to watch all the other NFL games. So, for me, because that's a noon kick, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. I might see if there's another opportunity for me to get to a different Vikings game instead. We'll see.
Are you also worried that the Vikings are just not going to be good this year, and that could be an ass whooping?
Whoa.
I mean, there's like always that possibility, man. Like, you don't become a Vikings fan for a long period of time and just sunny, rosy disposition.
Sure.
Good
point.
So
good point.
there's always that certainty. And then, of course, I think my thoughts on their expected starting quarterback are pretty well known at this point. But I'm
more worried about.
I don't know. I think Minnesota's got a good roster. It's just whether they can figure out the quarterback position or not. So it wouldn't be because I think the Eagles are so good. It wouldn't be a game. It would probably be more so just, is this the one bullet I want to fire to go to an NFL game in all of 2025? I don't know that the answer is yes. I'm also not convinced that I will be sent on the road for Husker 24/7 for that game either. So there's that aspect of it too. And if we were talking about a game where I was more concerned that it could go wrong, I've certainly seen a lot of bad football in Huntington Bank Stadium from one Nebraska Cornhuskers program.
I heard you the other day with Josh and John, and you are right. There are some wacky games since Nebraska joined the Big Ten in that stadium against Minnesota. Not all have been against Fleck, but he is a nemesis. I mean, he has got Nebraska on the ropes, and we always say this will be the year. Look at that guy. I think we've gotten past. The man can coach football. Two things about Minnesota in this year. One, he just got an extension on his contract. We know that there was flirtation with other jobs recently. Is he possibly going to be a lifer at Minnesota? And then with this 25 team, what do you believe to be true about Minnesota? Because I think what we can know is true. Mm-hmm. That game in the middle of October is going to be monstrous for Nebraska.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I think in a weird way, you start with this. Like, PJ Fleck is the opposite of Nebraska football over the last 8 years. I mean, for the most part, Minnesota has handled its business. They aren't flashy by any means, which is sort of funny because I think their coach presents in such a way that you think they would be, but they're not flashy, and they do the small things. They win in tight situations in ways that Nebraska hasn't. They've maximized their talent pool in a way that Nebraska hasn't. They've taken care of some of their bugaboos and some of the teams, whether it's Iowa, Wisconsin, they've gotten some big wins in recent years there as well. They're not, I don't want to make it seem like they're a perennial top 25 program because they're not, but they have built a very solid existence in the Big Ten ecosystem. And if PJ Fleck is unable, and he's tried, I mean, there's no question that he has tried to leave Minnesota, but if he's unable to find the right fit, or if people are hesitant about him, I don't know that it's the worst thing for him to just simply keep chopping wood up in Minneapolis. The problem I think he runs into is that Minnesota football, like if we go down the pecking order, what are they, 7th in terms of things that are happening in that state at any given time? So, I mean, it's never going to be bigger than the Vikings, than the Wild, than Minnesota Gophers hockey. Then, the Twins are very popular. The Timberwolves are one of the best teams in the NBA, I'm told. I wouldn't know. I don't watch enough to be able to say, but I know that Anthony Edwards is pretty good. So they're never going to have the eyeballs on him or the attention that PJ Fleck wants. And yet at the same time, he's got him in a pretty good spot. And I don't know that there's going to be that fatigue that usually happens if a team just perpetually lives in the 9-3 to 7-5 range. That's kind of where he is. There's the odd year in there where they might go 5-7 or 6-6 or something like that. But for the most part, he has it sort of built in a decent fashion. I think they have a little NIL money that they can use. I mean, certainly with the settlement money, but in addition to that, I think there's worse existences in college football than being a pretty good coach at a solid program. They're very unlikely to ever threaten to win the Big Ten, to make the college football playoff. There's just a cap there. And so I wonder if that eats at him.
Mike, I'm going to read you a tweet that one Mike Schaefer tweeted out. In response to a Cleveland Guardians, somebody tweeted about the Cleveland Guardians, and you responded on Twitter, and you said, it's almost like the inexplicable decision to spend $12 million to sign Carlos Santana's 363 slugging percentage for a nostalgia tour complicated the roster build for a team with limited resources and other pressing needs. Hell of a tweet. Great analysis by you on your Cleveland Guardians. My question to you is, though, at what point does a tweet like that become acceptable for college football, that we start kind of hanging the feet of general managers and coaches to the fire about some financial decisions that they've made?
Yeah, it's going to be hard because it's not all public information the way that what a Major League Baseball player's salary. Like I think the difficulty in holding the feet to the fire of the decision makers at a school based on financial resources is going to be really hard because we just don't have accurate information.
Yeah.
And with all the respect in the world to my former boss and Shannon Terry, the on-3 valuations they don't make any sense. They're not real. And so then the information that we have is never vetted, or it's very rare that you ever get actual contract information that is true. You're just going off of hearsay. And as someone who talks to the handlers or talks to the players themselves or to the parents, you can get a cascade of different information. I don't spend any time trying to figure out what Nebraska's NIL deals are for recruits because I can't verify that information. So I can't report it. So it has no value to me if someone is out there claiming that Nebraska is offering $1.5 million to an offensive lineman. I mean, I hear these numbers. Yep. I hear people in our network will call me up and be like, hey, Nebraska seems like they're leading for this guy. Sounds like they're going to spend a lot of NIL money. And then they might have a figure that they've heard from their end of things. It doesn't mean that it's true. So I guess what I'm trying to get at in a roundabout way is we don't have accurate information right now until you get to the point where that's all publicly available. I think it makes it sort of hard, and there's enough cover for the decision makers, the Matt Rules, the Pat Stewarts, the people that are having to make that decision, that they can avoid specifics. But yeah, there's absolutely going to be fans that are going to be upset if money gets spent. I mean, we don't have to go that far back. Think of how people viewed O'Shawn Mathis because of what they thought he was making in NIL. And he wasn't a good enough defensive player for what he was getting paid, or, it's not like we have to work that hard to see fans of college football be upset that their team isn't doing well and lashing out about whatever it is. Think of how many different people should have their scholarship pulled based on message board users every year who want to see, whether it's Nebraska or anyone else, operate like a quote unquote big boy program. So that's always going to be a part of this. It's just, I think we don't have real specifics to be able to attach actual numbers to it. And then on top of it, we don't know what the actual budget that programs are going to be able to utilize. We know what the settlement money is going to be, but there's this whole other world, since we're just basically back into the 2000s now, of hidden money or deals that aren't going to go through the clearinghouse because they're either at publicly traded companies that don't have to adhere to these rules, or that they can just be hidden in other fashions or forms. I mean, so it gets sort of difficult to have the level of specifics that you do from professional sports. And I think on one hand, yeah, you're absolutely going to have those complaints. On the other, we just don't know what it's going to sound like, or we don't know exactly all the information behind it.
So with that, you'll hear people go, well, Dylan makes $3.5 million. Eli Pritchett cost him $1.3 million. You don't know. Why do you think
when people say Dylan makes $3.5 million, are they saying that's over 4 years? Are they saying that's per season?
I don't know.
Are they saying that's per X amount of games?
I don't know.
Are they saying that because their uncle's friend's brother's sister's dad heard the information?
Yes. That's the recent one is, he's a $3.5 million guy. But what I'm asking is, at a place like Nebraska, it's never come out like, hey, Nebraska got Dane Key for blank. Why do you think at a place like Nebraska, we don't get that? It seems like other places, there's a lot of numbers that are known right away when you acquire a guy in the portal. At Nebraska, we know that they pay, but you don't ever really hear a number. Why?
I don't know that speak for other Nebraska media members. I know that it is not as valuable to me to get whatever the number that a handler will tell you or that a player will tell you, because I can't verify it. Mm-hmm. And 1890 isn't calling me or Brunts or BC up. They're like, hey, we just spent $2.8 million in the best way possible today. So, and I can't speak for my competitors or others in the Nebraska media market, but I'm fairly certain that they aren't getting into that level of specifics with media people. And so, if and when we get to see a breakdown of how Nebraska chooses to spend its money, and even then, how detailed is that going to be? How detailed do they have to be? Is the Journal Star, the World Herald, going to do a FOIA request of how the settlement money is spent and to what detail? That's the sort of stuff that I think could come in the future. But I don't know that there has been the level of prying on that. And again, for me in the media world, there's stuff that I think I know, there's stuff that I know, and there's stuff that I can verify and publish. They fit in those three categories. And if it's not the last one, I'm not going to put a number attached to somebody's name, because that's unfair to the kid. I mean, like if someone thinks a player is making X, but he's really making Y, and they're mad because X is much bigger than Y, that doesn't do anything for the athlete, especially if it doesn't go well for him. So a lot of it just comes down to verification. And if I can't verify something, I'm certainly not going to report it.
I think on the surface, we've looked at Nebraska football, and if we were to evaluate where they're good at recruiting and maybe where they lack, we would say that wide receiver is a strength because they've been able to get highly rated recruits. But now we're in a process. If you go back, right, Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair, they were fine, but they didn't pan out maybe as well as you anticipated. That 2023 class didn't have a ton of success in terms of the wide receivers they've gotten. What is your evaluation of Nebraska's wide receiver recruiting and developing?
I am fascinated to see how it goes for Daikiel Shorts. I think the arrow was up in terms of recruitment under Garrett McGuire, certainly with Cortez Mills and Isaiah Mosey being brought in, and Ja'Cory Barney with what he was able to do in his first year. The wide receiver position is going to be tough for me because last year I was one of those people that was out over his skis talking it up as one of the strengths of the team because I really felt like that's what it was going to be. And it didn't play out that way. And with all the respect in the world to Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair and those guys, I mean, they were a pretty below average wide receiver unit if you really look at it and think about it. Look at how teams like Indiana and others were just able to take receivers out of the game. Some of that you could say was self-inflicted with play calling, but some of the play calling was reactionary to the wide receivers that weren't able to get open themselves. So it all kind of, chicken or the egg there. So I think Nebraska's done a pretty good job identifying wide receivers. I don't know that they have always done the best job putting them in positions to be successful. With Dana Holgorsen, the feeling is that's going to be true. I mean, he is a recruiting piece of this himself. I mean, Larry Miles said Dana Holgorsen's name more than he said Matt Rule's name, in his commitment interview with Husker 24/7.
Yeah.
And that's not any kind of shot at Matt Rule, but it's Larry Miles being very aware of how many wide receivers have had prolific college careers playing in the offense that Dana Holgorsen has called throughout time. So I think, you can feel pretty good about the wide receiver position and think that it should be better than last year. But it's just one of these things where when we talk about it as the strength of a team, or we talk about it as Nebraska can really rely on it, we don't know that to be true because we haven't seen what Isaiah Hunter is in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen what Dane Key can do with Dylan Raiola. I'm very optimistic.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's better than the pieces last year, but I also feel like someone who put their hand on a hot stove and wants to learn my lesson,
What's the difference when the season rolls out from last year to this year with Sierra Wright, you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is he sort of under-discussed as one of their best defensive players?
Yes.
And then on top of it, is he under-discussed because we have no idea if he's one of their best defensive players? He had a really nice 8-game stretch. We saw that from Tommy Hill in 2023, and then he had a very up and down 2024, and some of that injury related, some of that just Tommy Hill related. I don't think you're going to have that with Sierra Wright necessarily. But I do think sometimes, if a cornerback, it's harder to visualize if you have a really good corner, what that could mean for you. Obviously, Travis Hunter can change the equation there in a way that Sierra Wright can't. But I think in the best case scenario, he's a guy that can sort of help take away part of the field. He could be really reliable, and you could write his name in Sharpie every week and never have to think about it. I think that's the best case scenario for Sierra Wright. I don't know that he's an all Big Ten corner, but at times last year he was very, very good for Nebraska. And he's shown playmaking instincts that the folks at USC, when he committed to Nebraska and then transferred here, and I talked with Chris Trevino and a couple other people over there, they loved him at practice. He was a guy who was really, really good at practice, and then during games, it wasn't as good, but they also felt like it wasn't his fault that how bad USC's defense was his last year there. So I think there's a lot more to be seen from Sierra Wright. It's always hard projecting with corners, what the best case scenario is. Obviously, you'd love to see him have like 8 interceptions, but that seems somewhat unlikely too.
Shafe, as always, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend, my friend.
All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
Mike. That is Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7.
With Sierra Wright, and this isn't like a math thing or anything like that. Like there's really no work done behind it other than I think it's in general hard to put your confidence in a player who doesn't start to begin the season. And what I mean by that is like when you're not the starting corner to begin the year and you have to wait for things to happen to then get your opportunity, I think it's harder for you to put confidence in that player heading into the next season because you didn't see it over a full season stretch, right? You only saw it over 6 to 8 games. And so I think it's like for Sierra Wright, this year will be incredibly important for him because he's not going to have to hope somebody gets injured or, somebody plays bad to go and get his opportunity. It's his job now. And so I think that he's played in a way where he should be discussed more and he should be in that upper echelon. But I think how he got his job has definitely made people a little bit more skeptical of, is he really that? Or was he just hot? Was he just, he just caught fire?
I think I saw enough of him that I think he's Nebraska's best defender right now.
I think that he played like Nebraska's last defender in the last 8 games. But you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that he didn't begin.
If it was only like a couple of games, sure. I'm right there with you.
But
I think we saw a long, and it's not like he didn't play where he was coming from.
Sure. And also too, I think I don't think I've ever said about Sierra Wright like, oh, he's going to be bad or anything. I've just been like, that position's kind of locked up. It's his. He's going to be there. It's just, do we look at him as elite at the end of the year?
All right, Matt Verzal will join us. If you want to jump on 1620 The Zone TV, he's got something to show you all when he joins us here in about 4 minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Check, check.
All right. Verz joins us. We are on StreamYard for one of the rare times because he has something to show off. Good morning.
He's got on. I can't. You got to unmute yourself, man.
All right. There we go.
Attaboy.
You are good to
on
go now.
other shows, the producer unmutes me.
It wouldn't let me, Verz. I tried to click the thing and it said,
I also tried to unmute you, and I could not unmute you. Okay, so we were both absolved. We are both absolved.
So this is a great shirt.
It's an incredible shirt. That is an awesome shirt.
It's my favorite shirt ever. I love wearing it.
Why are we wearing it today?
It's just much like Ricky Bobby. I just piss excellence. So tried to. By the way, on these very airwaves that we're on right now, the news of, and if we're going to be petty, we'll be petty. The news of a certain hire of a human being as the head football coach at Nebraska. I said, hey, everybody needs to temper their expectation. This person has never inherited a situation like this, so let's all back it down. In the millisecond that I uttered these words off of these airwaves, I began to get death threats. And they were going to bankrupt. Oh, yeah. They were going to bankrupt my business. They were going to, I'm a fat, washed up POS that's never done anything, and I hate Nebraska. So that's all except the hate Nebraska part is fair. That's more than fair. So this is my mea culpa. Hi, did you miss me? Go ahead and tell me. But no. It is what it is. You know, I like to try to find like lessons to learn out of things in life. When you're born and raised, and parents out there, pay attention. Okay, if you have children, pay attention. When you raise a child that is never wrong, it's never their fault, it's always someone else, this is what you get. Okay. And if you don't think it's your child, it is your child. Because I dealt with it last night. When you raise your child to be never wrong, they are wrong, and this is what you get. You get petulant children that will point fingers and never take blame for anything. And you got good people that will defend them. God bless them, but I ain't that guy. I call it what it is, and good riddance. I wish you all the best.
Do you think it's partly stemmed from the fact that, and I let's just keep this from an athletic perspective, right? Because I talked back to a coach one time when I was younger, and I got heavily punished by my parents about that. And they're like, you don't do that. You don't talk back to your coach. Do you think that we are missing that stems from that we have too many parents who think they know better than the coaches, or their kids know better than the coaches?
Yes and no. I think it's starting to make a turn. Like 2-3 years ago, it was bad. But look at all the youth organizations, and I ain't mad at you. Go out and make your money. If you have people that are dumb enough to not realize that their child does not possess the skill to move on to the next level, but you want to go start your own team and basically buy your own franchise inside of whatever little youth organization you're going to make. I mean, these organizations are running out of colors.
They are.
Like it's blank, United, Special, Delivery, Teal, Superstars, all world. And it's just like, what are we doing? Like, you get mad at a coach because your 5 to 13-year-old kid isn't feeling what you get as the correct playing time. Now, there is part of this, there's a two-way street. But some of the coaches out there are trying to live their glory days and make sure that they win their city title, which if you're basing your life off a city title, then you probably should hang it up anyway. But it is what it is. It's just, we are a society of selfish people. We only care about ourselves. And now it is turning, because much as I'll have bad kids that come into Pisons, like the little gal last night, we got her disciplined and we sat her down, and I don't care what her parents thought about it. But then in the next breath, when they left, I had 3 great kids that were just over being super respectful of the property and the business. And that's all I really want. I actually bought their parents beer, and the kids all got ice cream sandwiches. So,
wow, that's
a reinforcement kind of guy.
That's a hell of an Uncle Verse. Do you think, and I know how you feel about youth sports, and everybody that has followed you along, you've been passionate and straightforward on your thoughts on youth sports. Are youth sports, though, going to be youth sports organizations that have become so big and there's such a huge financial investment by the parents that youth sports and those organizations are going to kill the idea of, hey, play multiple sports. Play 3-4 sports. Don't just focus on one. But if there's so much money going to play basketball during the summer, you really just are focusing on one, right?
Yeah.
If the parent, so those things can go as far as the parent will allow. A great example of it just happened this past year. Okay. You had the Van Dyke twins, football, basketball, baseball, both great at football. Okay. One good at basketball, one not so good at basketball. One good at baseball, one better than average at baseball, but had other plans senior year, you're moving on. The Van Dyke family does not give an S what you think about them. If they don't, why aren't you in travel? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And so that the parent's insecurity is what it is. The parent thinks they can go buy this avenue into stardom. When in reality, all you want to get done is have your kids learn how to operate inside of a team environment and build a structure where they have to get it. Every sport has a benefit to life. Okay. Baseball is futility. In baseball, if I go 3 for 10, I am an all-star. I am amazing. At Pisons Pizzeria, if I get 3 out of 10 pizzas right, I am out of business. But we are going to make mistakes. But guess what? We are going to get back up. We are going to fix that mistake, and we are going to move on. Football is the really only team atmosphere that you can create. Because for me to succeed, I got to have 10 other dudes do exactly what I'm doing for us to go forward together and be great. Okay? That's what football does. Basketball, dumbest sport ever. Teaches you nothing. It teaches you no life skills. Because look how it operates. I'm going to go out and get mine. Why 7-on-7 is dumb too. I'm going to go out and get mine. Okay? I don't care about what you do. I got mine. And then when you watch it, then the dumbasses double down. And then the parents get so pissed off because their kid can't get theirs that they try to fight. Go ahead and come in here and try to fight. Come in and try to fight. And please do. Please. I wish you that. Go into an office and try to fight if you don't get your way. See what happens. Go hold a press conference and whine and piss and moan when you don't get your way. See how that goes for you. It doesn't go. Sports are there to teach the kids the fundamentals and the love of the game. The cream will always rise to the top.
Yeah.
And try this out, parent. If you got a kid on your team that's not your kid that's awesome, and you know he's different, and you know in your brains when you see the different ones, go tell him. Be like, hey, buddy, I'd love to watch you play. You're really good, and thanks for playing with my kid. Because you make him better. That's what these little youth programs are supposed to be about.
Sure.
It carries on they went up to Sioux Falls, and you got West Side playing like Millard West. Save yourself the 4-hour trip and just go play over here. Like, it's just dumb. I wish I had that much money though.
That's been going on for so long. Like 10 years ago when I was playing hockey, we would go up to Michigan to play the same exact teams that we played back in Illinois. It was stupid. I like now I was at the Omaha Baseball Village for the College World Series, and there was all of these youth baseball kids walking around. And you know what I'm talking about. They had the chains and they had the glasses and they had, all the fancy gloves and everything like that. And I think that, obviously you want the kid to express some personality, but you don't want it to go above the team. As a coach, how do you balance that of not making the kid be a robot, but also not allowing them to be a standoff, what?
You have a meeting with the parents and you go get all of the videos of the Dominican and the Cuban and the Puerto Rican leagues. And that kid is crafting a glove out of a cardboard box. And he's throwing rocks up and hitting rocks with a broomstick. And like, there's a 49-cent broomstick and you just spent $400 on a bat. That guy can rake, your kid pops out to second. Maybe we just work on a little bit of hand-eye coordination instead of thinking this bat is going to send the ball into orbit. Or maybe instead of $350 on the glove, you just tell him, hey, bud, you're going to use last year's glove. Then, instead of getting some oven mitts because your kid doesn't know how to slide, maybe you teach him how to slide. Maybe your dumb ass goes in feet first. Because if you can't do that, you don't need an oven mitt. One of my favorite videos on the interwebs, there's a set of moms that had enough. They had enough. Their kids played a team of kids that had the oven mitt sliding gloves. They went to Dollar General and bought oven mitts and just taped them on their kids' hands. I was like, you're my favorite people ever. I'm like, you get it.
Matt Verzal joining us. What if I told you that James Franklin would be sitting in his office in State College looking over film, and there was a kid that popped to him and he said, you know what, let's find out more about him. So James Franklin or somebody else on his staff calls up Matt Turman and says, tell me about this junior that you have. And the next thing you know, Wyatt Liebentritt has an offer from Penn State. What if I would have told you that? You would have said what?
Probably wouldn't have thought it would have been James Franklin. Probably would have thought it would have been Matt Campbell. But I think Penn State, and this is just speculation, I think Penn State does a great job of evaluation. Okay. And let me finish when I say this. I think Penn State really wanted the kid that's going to Iowa. I apologize. I don't follow recruiting. I don't know his name. Okay. But he was going to go to Iowa, or he is going to Iowa because his daddy played at Iowa and his brother plays in Nebraska.
Darian Jones.
Sounds good. If that's right, great.
Cool.
But then they had a little 7-on-7 deal, and I think Wyatt had a good day against him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Penn State held him in very high regard, got some film and said, who's this kid? And why aren't we looking at him? Then you go look at Wyatt's measurables. Wyatt can run. He's a hurdler. He's fast. He's explosive. He made some good plays. He has good cut-ups from his huddle. He didn't. He's pretty good with the technology. He's got some good cut-ups there. So that looks good. Would like to see him run the alley and make some plays. So not a little bit more, but so now Franklin looks at that as like, well, if we hold this kid in high regard and this kid did that to him, and now we go look at what he can run and jump, and he's pretty good size, he's pretty good build. We see him now, but we know we can put 15, 18 pounds on him and he's going to be a monster. So props to them for their evaluation process, because that's the only way I can really make it see that progression happen, because I've talked to his folks and they're like, we haven't talked to Penn State once.
We
haven't even spoken with them.
What is your reaction to, so in the class of 2026, Nebraska, the University of Nebraska doesn't have anybody in the top 10 committed and going to the university, but all the kids in the top 10 are going to Power 5 schools. What is your reaction, and what do you think that represents in terms of the health of Nebraska high school football?
In my heart, I don't like it, because when the run through the 90s happened, it was built with Nebraska kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your Dishmans, your Otts, your Zadiskas, your Wilkes, your Uyghurs, and then you splice in other pieces at other places. Okay. But you controlled what was in your state. I think right now where we're at and why it's not happening as much as we want it to is Nebraska is in a phase of transition where they can't see the Nebraska kid and say, okay, in 2 years, this kid's going to be really good. They need a kid they feel is more ready made to step in and play day one. I think it will evolve. Like, they are active in the Nebraska high schools and they talk to the high school coaches, but I still think they're trying to get more plug and play guys so then they can have depth. So then in maybe another year, your 28 class or your 27 class, now you're seeing more of the top kids of Nebraska State. It breaks my heart. I mean, you would love to see us just run roughshod over the state and keep all the local kids local, but in their opinion and their evaluation, that isn't where we're at. And so it is what it is. It sucks. But with the transfer portal and NIL, our NIL, I feel, is once we made some restructuring plans there, we're better at our NIL. So people got different jobs and some people got different jobs. So we do better at that now. But we can then start to say, hey, we know you went to Iowa or Iowa State to start.
Yeah.
They kind of got you buried down there. We got space for you. And we know you can play. We've always known you can play. We just, at the time, it wasn't the right fit. So here's a little check. Maybe you just slide over here.
Yep. Thank you. I enjoyed this. Great shirt. Great for the thoughts. Love the conversation. And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. We will be a day older tomorrow.
Yes. We will see you then, my friend. Thank you.
See you, Matt.
That was good, boys. Have a good one.
You too.
That is Matt Verzal, birthday boy, turning 51. So for people to catch up here, and I saw him as a younger player. He's only a junior. So we're talking about Wyatt Liebentritt, whose brother played at Nebraska. Barrett started at Notre Dame, then transferred to Nebraska, was playing fullback, and is then suffered an injury, season-ending injury. So his brother Wyatt, who is a speedster, he's not very big yet, but he's going to be a junior. So he's 6 foot 180. He is I think he ran 110 high hurdles, like 14.6. So he's got great speed. He looks the part. So Penn State offered him. He did go to camp at Nebraska, but he had an allergic reaction while he was there. And so he did not go through any of the competition. So if you're wondering, why hasn't Nebraska offered him? Well, they wanted to see him in camp, but he is definitely on the radar. It's great. If you saw the state final last year, he flashed, and you're like, okay, the kid's only a sophomore. But I can't recall Penn State offering a player in this area this soon. Now, they've had offers here and there, but nobody that is a rising junior.
It's one of those, Penn State is one of those offers where just a national program, whenever they're in any state and they're in any high school offering any sort of athlete, you turn your head and you go, damn, okay. And it might be an alarm to some people too that, hey, if they're evaluating Wyatt Liebentritt like this, why are we not?
Well, the curious backstory is how did they, what were they looking at that they were looking at a 7-on-7 from Nebraska?
Sure.
Darren Jones, they were looking at him, but they were not necessarily in the mix. But it shows you the power of huddle, the power of video, the access where you don't have to fly. Somebody from Penn State doesn't have to fly all the way to the middle of the country to evaluate prospects. They can sit in their office and hit play, stop, rewind, fast forward, stop, play, and they can see a kid from Nebraska and go, okay, we see that kid that could play safety in the Big Ten.
And it also potentially could be the effect of if you're just, you're on 24/7 and you're just going through the state recruiting rankings from years past, and you see, oh, wow, Nebraska high school football had, so many, like a dozen Power 5 guys there. There's Power 5 talent there. Why don't we just kind of go through and look at some of the top prospects?
All right, take a break, come back, and we'll put a wrap on the show. Just a little side note for Pisons for carry out only after 3. All right. We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, don't forget Major League Baseball draft is this weekend.
I had no clue.
Really?
I mean,
it is Sunday.
I had like I see Ethan Holiday is now trending back to being the number 1 overall pick, and
Go
I've seen
Cade Anderson College World Series,
and I've seen like the mock drafts, but I had no idea that it was this Sunday.
I think the College World Series in college baseball has helped people that don't normally pay attention to the Major League Baseball draft.
Oh God,
because Cade Anderson could go number 1. You recognize him from LSU.
I think
Arquette from Oregon State can go in the top 5, possibly, the shortstop for the Beavers. Liam Doyle will probably be the second college pitcher off the board. He was at Tennessee, played, last year, national championship team. So I think more attention to college baseball around here.
Yeah.
Or I think in general, I think you recognize more names. And I also think it helps, like the Skeens to the Cagliones and the Langfords in between have made it to the majors quicker. Because it used to be you draft a guy and you wouldn't pay attention to him till 3 years later.
Yes.
Because they went A, AA, AAA, and then they were to the majors. The Major League Baseball draft will never be on the level of the NFL or NBA just because of the minor league system and how it's set up. And, you just don't walk out of college and you're in the majors right away.
Well,
but I think college baseball is really, the attention towards college baseball and the College World Series has really helped attention towards college baseball or the Major League Baseball draft to the casual fan, I think.
And I think that the MLB does an incredible job, probably better than any other league, covering their minor leagues and covering the next guys coming up now with, the top 100 prospects and the top 30 prospects in your pipeline and all that stuff. So when you have your first round and second round picks, you're more likely to pay attention and then try and follow those guys as they go. If you're a diehard, when they go through the ranks of the minors. I mean, for me, it's like I think of Cade Horton, where Cade Horton had an incredible College World Series, and I would have had no idea who he was if I wasn't watching the College World Series. And then he gets drafted by the Cubs, and I'm like, this guy's awesome because I saw him play those 3 games, and he was insane. So I think that and this is with every sport, but when you elevate the college sport, it's beneficial to elevating the professional sport because then you get that vested interest in guys when they hit the next level. I'm sure there are LSU fans who have watched more Pirate baseball over the last 18 months than they ever have before.
Final thing here, because I just saw this. If you've been following the Omaha World Herald, which does print box scores, thank you to a few people that sent me screenshots.
Not everything,
especially Terry.
Tiburon Terry.
Different Terry.
Different Terry. Damn.
They have their countdown going on. Jalen Gramstad, the Human Victory cigar, is 26th in the top 50 countdown. The top 50 Nebraska football players. Rare. Now Harburg was different last year, but rare that you would get a backup. I think that would be ranked that high.
I think it is because there is the fear of what the hell does this team look like, or what the hell happens if Dylan Raiola goes down.
Knock on wood. 13 starts last year.
Well, that's
let me some if he makes it through another year without missing a start.
When was the last time it happened again?
Tannerly.
Yeah. So it was a long. We went
but that did for Tannerly.
Nebraska.
Maybe it would have been good if Tannerly would have taken one of those games off and give POB a start.
Nebraska went a very long time without having a quarterback that could just start games 1 through 13. And I do think there's there's no way lightning strikes twice. There's no way this happens again.
So this is a question, because it's July 11th, about backup quarterbacks. Real quick here, because we got to send to the crossover. If it is Northwestern on October 24th, and the week before Dylan gets dinged up or he gets concussed, something like that, and he's unable to go, would Gramstad be the starter the next game?
I think at this point there is been nothing that has indicated that he wouldn't be the starter at this point, but there's a part of me that hopes that TJ Lateef or Marco Scavilla or one of these guys who were highly rated recruits have played their way to being into the backup situation because they are just better athletes and there is an ability for them to be more dynamic. on offense. But at this point, we've heard nothing other than no, Jalen Gramstad is the backup. So I would feel I mean, there are games I probably would feel better about if they had a backup quarterback as opposed to Northwestern. Like if they were playing Maryland with a backup quarterback, I think there's a no-brainer.
If it happens early in the year, it's a no-doubter with Gramstad. But if it's later in the year,
I think I would really hope. My honest hope is that by like week 8 or week 9, that one of Davila or Latif has established themselves as, hey, this guy is going to be ready to go and be ready to play quarterback at Nebraska at some point.
In time for November.
In time
all works out.
26th ahead of McGahee, Bonner, Ives, Petula.
I mean, the most important player in your roster sometimes is the backup quarterback.
All right, that'll do it for the week, everybody. Next week is All-Star Week and SEC Media Days. And next Thursday will be 6 weeks away from kickoff to the season.
Or
22
days away.
From 20 days?
20 days away.
That new math. Kids are screwed.
Crossovers coming up next. Live, laugh, and punt. Make memories. Be safe, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. And make plans to join us again on Monday at 6. Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.